All praise to the Most High. All praises to the Lord and His Son, Jesus Christ. Happy to be back here in Concord. It's been a few weeks since I've been in your presence. I know you were in the spirit. I kind of kept tabs on the congregation while I was away, but it's always good to be here in person with you. All praises to the Most High. Glad you've all made it here safely, and to make it to our destinations when we leave, make it safely. Be careful on the road, obey speed limits, and these kinds of things here, all right? Let us all do the right thing and pray for one another and look out for one another, all right? The name of today's class is going to be entitled The Lord's Prayer. The Lord's Prayer. I'm talking about the regular Lord's Prayer in the book of Matthew, okay? The Lord's Prayer, that's the name of today's class. And the reason why I thought it was important to kind of go over this title, rather, and we're going to read the scripture, of course, is because every once in a while we have to tie ourselves to the whatever chimes and all that, turn those things off, little noises and all that. We have to go back and keep our minds on the program of the Most High, okay? So in making mention of the Lord's Prayer, we need to always tie back to what the Lord instructed us to do. So that's the reason, that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to talk about the Lord's Prayer, okay? The first thing I will say is that IUIC is not, because this is what's been said. When I say this is what's been said, this has been said in media. When I say media, I'm talking about the attack that has been coming upon what they call the Israelite movement, okay? And labels is really something to think about when people talk about labeling. The Israelite movement, they make it sound like it's like some Black Panther movement or some kind of some made-up organization or something like that. We are not about anything like that at all. This is about the program of God in the Bible. That's what this is about. But when we don't pay attention to the labeling, when people try to label us, that is an attempt to categorize us, to marginalize us, to shunt us into a marginal position outside of where it really supposed to be. So it's a way of controlling a movement, if you will, or controlling the people. That's what labels do. Okay, so I wanted to say from the offset that one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this class here is to show you that we are not one that you can label. Okay, so I made this statement. I said, IUIC is not the other end of white supremacy. And how many of y'all heard that term before? Raise your hands. Okay, see, it's a lot. So that mean the dragon is wroth by getting that thought out there to many of us, and to make you think that we're just merely the mirror opposite of white supremacy. That is, say you got white supremacy, then you have black supremacy. Ain't no such thing. Y'all all right? This is not a quote unquote black supremacist movement. To the white people, yeah, that fits them, but to us, that's not what we are about. And that's what I want to go over. This is about the program of the Lord. And if we can go through this Bible and go through this class and tie it to what the Lord said in the Lord's Prayer, then we know that we are not to be associated. We are not to be aligned or labeled as such as what these people tend to do with us. And it's all by design. So again, IUIC is not the other end of white supremacy. We are about the Lord's Prayer. Big difference. In this class, I'm going to illuminate that. Okay, give me my first video. I'm titling this SPLC's Agenda. Okay, start it off. Everybody pay attention. Let's make sure we got the sound good. Let's take our notes. Let's get our minds ready, because we're going to go into it. Let's go.
The Ku Klux Klan and other white supremacist groups have gained more attention in the news recently. But as special correspondent Charlene Hunter-Gault explains, the national undercurrent of racism may be even more pervasive. It's part of our year-long exploration of solutions to the problems of race in America.
These are boots that are intended so that when you stomp on someone, the swastika will be left.
Now pause it. We can start getting into it now. The white supremacist groups, they have boots with swastikas on the bottom of them. And they said that when they stomp people, you're going to see the swastikas on the people. The woman that you saw, the white woman in that thing, she's, what's her name, Heidi Burbeck, whatever her name is, she's of the SPLC. She's in this. She's in this particular clip here. But she's primarily speaking about white supremacists. So many people, as they watch this, you will get a sense of credibility about the SPLC in reference to the white supremacist groups. But don't be fooled. Like I always tell you, don't be fooled. Okay? Play on.
Byrick is leader of the Intelligence Project here at the Southern Poverty Law Center, a nonprofit anti-terror organization.
So she's talking about she's talking about the SPLC's reason or giving you the background of their group, so to speak. Okay, go ahead.
Revealing some Ku Klux Klan history, boots with swastikas and boots with red laces, indicating Klan members who physically harmed someone, and other racist paraphernalia. In 2014, there were some 784 active hate groups. Byrick brings us up to date.
The Ku Klux Klan has declined over the years, in part due to lawsuits that you people here at the Southern Poverty Law Center have filed. Briefly tell us about how that came about.
We started filing lawsuits against the Klan in 1981 over a lynching of a young black man in Mobile. That was our first anti-Klan lawsuit, and we came up with this idea that we should sue these folks in civil court to bankrupt them.
Now pause it. I remember telling y'all about this from certain times. I was saying that they began to get their notoriety from the case that involved, I believe this is the case that dealt with this Ethiopian student named Molageta Sorah, who was lynched as a result of the quote-unquote teachings of the Klan. And they went behind them, and that's what they're going to talk about here. So many people looked at them, and at that time they had this guy named Morris Dees. Well, he got fired from the group by the board of directors for racism and sexual harassment. So how much of a liberal and crusade for racial justice is that? And that was the head of one of the co-founders of the group. Anyway, they're making point to that. All right, so go ahead. This is how they got their start. This is what she's saying. Listen.
That was the plan. We've now had a series of Klan groups that we've sued, put them basically out of business, leading all the way up to very recently with the Imperial Clans of America. Our hope is that by taking their money away, they can't function anymore.
And that was successful?
Yes, every single one of them has been successful. Obviously, when these groups don't have money, that means there's less violence that they can perpetrate. You know, the whole idea is to not allow them to function.
But at the moment, there seems to be...
So did y'all get that? So their objective sounded noble, because here you have a group that's literally sending out perpetrating violence against people. There's a whole list of violence that these people do. Okay, there's other videos where they just start where they start naming incident after incident where people were dying. They even pinned the federal building that got blew up by Timothy McVeigh. They tied that to one of these groups. So they have a legacy of violence and death. So how in the world did you put the Israelites on the other end of that? Y'all understand? How do you do that? And I'm going to show you how they do it. Go ahead.
A resurgence and what appears to be a rise in hate groups. What explains that?
We have seen a sustained rise in hate groups since basically 2000. And the main thing driving this has been changing demographics in the United States. 2000 was an important year because it's the first time that the U.S. Census said definitively, in our near future, 2042 at the time, whites will no longer be the majority. And obviously, if you're
so hold it. She's making a point as to the reason why these white hate groups are really just out there doing their thing, because they are worried about a threat of being made into the minority. Y'all have heard this stuff over. They've been talking about that. Said that the non-whites are populating so much faster than them. So in certain pockets of the white population, they have what are known as what I would call the hardliners or the fundamentalists or the the Patriots. Those are names. Some they actually put names to themselves like that. Fundamentalists. There was other groups called America First and stuff like this here. These groups are supposed to be the quote unquote responsible of the white people, saying that, listen, if y'all don't pay attention to what's going on, we're going to lose everything. So we are going to do everything in our power. This is basically a political movement. It's political. Our movement has nothing to do with politics. I'm making a distinction there. So they're saying about that it's because we are worried about population, we're worried about losing our power, alt-right. And when Trump got in office, that just gave them extra fuel. They said, wow, we got somebody in the top. So that's why Charlottesville and all that other stuff happened. Y'all all right? I just want you to understand that there's a huge difference. It's not even in the same category, but they want to put us in there because the objective is to do to us what they did to them. They said that they went after them, lawsuits, and tried to bankrupt them, take away their properties, this, and that, and the other, so that they can't function. So in the beginning, it would be viewed that because you're tying violence directly to them. This is not where somebody's trying to sully them and make them into violence. These people are actually about hot. You go into somebody's yard and putting up crosses and burning their houses down and hanging their fathers and all of that. Those are direct links. Y'all understand that? Okay, so that's their action. Play on.
Member of a hate group, right? If you're a white supremacist, the fact that whites will be less than 50% of the population is something to basically be a little freaked out about. And so we started seeing organizing by hate groups, and huge growth, spiked over 1,000 hate groups in a very short period of time. Obama added to that, right? Obviously, the first black president was another reason for a backlash like that to develop.
And you're getting that from former Klans people and former white supremacists who are telling you that?
You always hear exactly the same thing, whether people are in the movement or out of the movement.
Is it mostly hatred of African Americans, or is there more to it?
Hatred of black people is the driving force for America's hate movement. But over the years, as you've seen a change in sort of the population of people of color here, you can add to that mix dislike of Latinos and immigrants, dislike of gay people, and very recently we've seen a huge outburst by every kind of hate group against the Muslim community.
You've also described in some of your writings about a new phenomenon called the lone wolf, which is different from organized groups. How significant and worrisome is that?
Well, you're pointing out one of the biggest trends in terms of racist killings that we're seeing lately. We have people like Dylan Roof, who killed 9 people in Charleston. Our understanding of Dylan Roof from his own manifesto is he never met a person in another hate group in his life. He was completely radicalized online. That's exactly the same phenomenon that we see, for example, with people who are inspired by ISIS. They go onto websites where this propaganda is widely available. It enrages them for some reason. That kind of lone wolf terrorism is a big problem, and there's more of it today than there was 10 years ago, and we don't expect that to change.
Can you use...
Pause it for a second. They said that they did research on that. What was that boy that went and the guy that just in the Charleston? Dylan Roof. She was saying, she made the point saying that he did not have any, at least they couldn't find any ties to an actual group, but his mind got turned by following these groups online. That's what they're saying. Understand the language that she's going with. Go ahead.
Use any of the tactics that you use to decimate the Klan in this new era?
These people live on the web, like many people do, for all kinds of reasons. The only way for law enforcement to really find them and track them is to follow them onto the hate websites, and it's not easy. How did Dylan Roof indicate that he was going to go on a mass shooting spree? He didn't.
So are there any solutions, though, for people who around the country who are concerned about these issues?
The Department of Justice has reconstituted a domestic terrorism task force that had been defunct since 9/11 to start collecting intelligence aggressively against white supremacists and extreme anti-government types. That's a very important thing to do. What we try to do here is publish information about these people, where they are, what groups they're involved in, what they're publishing, so that at least law enforcement, which is the big readership for our products, knows where they are, what they believe, what they think, so they have a chance to maybe catch someone before they escalate.
How much does education add to a solution?
it's probably the biggest solution. And we know from talking to people who are racist today that it has a lot to do with what you learn in the home. If it's not counteracted in some way, right, deep racial hatred, you don't learn any differently. We have a lot of people who come to us after stints, for example, in prison for crimes committed with white supremacy in some way.
Let me know when we get to 6 minutes.
That's a place where you could intervene with younger people too and bring them out of the movement.
And you've seen that happen?
Many, many times. One of my favorite examples is a woman named Angela King who went to prison in Florida for involvement with white supremacist skinhead crew. They committed some robberies. She met a Jamaican woman who was imprisoned with her, but was involved in some community activities in the prison there. They became friends. That's how Angie got out of the movement, was through that relationship.
Okay, pause it for a second. Pause it for a second. It's coming up. My point is coming up anyway. But what I want to say from the beginning all the way up to this point, all what she's making, that's making some sense in terms of these groups and the things that they're doing, and people getting encouraged to commit violent acts by just simply watching and following and things like this here. All of that is relevant to them. That has nothing to do with us. I'm showing you one side of the spectrum, and then I'm going to show you the other side of what they say we are the other side of that spectrum. Y'all understand where I'm going? Sisters, y'all understand where I'm going? I'm going to show you that the equation is not fair. That's the point, and for lack of a better term. Go ahead.
First time in her life she had an honest friendship, right, with a person of a different color. Now Angela King runs something called Life After Hate, which works with people who want to get out of white supremacist movements.
So basically, hold it, let me just sum this up, and then it's going to get to what I'm saying. So basically what Heidi is saying is that in her mind, at least the viewpoint of what she's trying to push for everybody else to believe, is that there is no real reason to be involved in this group here because it's political. It's their idea. It's not divine. Y'all dig with? Y'all understand what I'm saying? Okay. Go ahead.
We try to do is bust up the groups. We try to sow discord among the organizations.
Okay. Hold it right here. So basically, she has an issue with the hardliners, the patriots, but then she brings it into other areas by telling you how they do this. So if one of the words she said that they look to sow discord among the people whom they deem as extremists. Understand the difference. If you was doing that to white supremacists, fine. That's where you're supposed to do that at, because that's not a legitimate group according to God. You follow what I'm saying? But when it comes to the Most High's people trying to get out of captivity, that's a totally different argument. So if you're trying to sow discord among that, that's evil. You dig what I'm saying? But back it up just a little bit, because I want you to hear what she says about what they do in general. Because although she's speaking about the Klan and so forth, they do this to groups like us, so to speak. They do this to Israel, the Israelites. That's what I want y'all to catch. Is everybody with me so far? Back it up just a little and get that statement that what she said.
Friendship, right, with a person of a different color.
Good, let it play.
Now Angela King runs something called Life After Hate, which works with people who want to get out of white supremacist movements. Well, what we try to do is bust up the groups. We try to sow discord among the organizations, show that the people who lead these organizations are hypocrites, and so on, to give people a chance to look at what they've gotten involved in and maybe reconsider it.
Pause it. That's what we experienced last year. We had a group of brothers, group of people that tried to do exactly. So that's letting you know that they were in communication with these people. Because the discord part, trying to make the leadership look bad, all of those things is what she's bringing out. This is letting you know that the people that sat in their chambers to listen to the plot on how to destroy Israel, they don't understand that what they're being called to do is not the same thing as them attacking the so-called white groups. We're not the same. They should have never took that bargain. They should have never took that plea. These men and women that sought to do this. Go ahead.
You've seen that work?
It absolutely works. The number one thing I would say that drives people out of hate groups is seeing their leadership corrupt.
Looking to the future and the things that you do.
When they say corrupt, they in other words, they're trying to say you're partial. That's another, like the man put up what it said, Leviticus 5:1 in the more videos and all of that. The videos that they was running, they were trying to say that leadership here was partial and giving passes to one and not passes to the other. That never happened. Y'all understand? Go ahead.
At all optimistic that your organization and America in general can get its arms around hate and racism?
I'm optimistic in the long run, and I'm extremely pessimistic in the short run. Some of the racial strife that we've been experiencing over the last year are all related to our inability to digest the fact that this country is changing and white people are not going to be the majority here, right? I think in the long term, everything in the United States may be amazing, right? We might be the first truly multicultural, multi-ethnic democracy that embraces tolerance everywhere. We would be the first if we sustain this transition into the 2050s.
Okay, stop. Okay, that's good enough.
Without sort of
so she said that ultimately, because she says she's pessimistic about the short term because a lot of groups are still fighting. White groups, what's the name, Richard Spencer and all of this. She ain't really mentioning Israelites or anything, but she's mainly talking about the white supremacy groups. But so she said that she's pessimistic for the short term, but in the long term, she has hope because she's saying that we will finally get to a place of multiculturalism and all the rest of that. You know what it means, and I'm getting ready to put you back in the right box, because I know everybody's thoughts is like kind of, because I let this woman talk a little bit too much, right? But I'm getting ready to fix your minds up right now. In order for this place to be truly multicultural, what must they do? Stand up. I want to see if somebody knows. In order for it to be, when you say, what does it mean to be truly multicultural? Who has a clue? Who has a clue? Who has a clue?
Shalom, Deek. Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath.
Let everyone celebrate their own culture instead of the American culture, like Christmas, Easter, you know.
Okay.
The culture that they taught everybody.
Are y'all listening? It says, so everybody celebrate their own culture, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, somebody else. That's one. So I'm going to pound on that, but give it to somebody else because I'm going to come back to that statement.
For them to acknowledge the things that they did to us and give us true equal rights, which they never did and won't do.
Okay, so on both of those lines are good, because if they talk about true multiculturalism, just like the first brother, Michelle, right? Michelle, he said that you would have to allow everybody to bring forth their culture. Well, how are you going to do that if you're saying that the black people are not the Jews? How are you going to do that? You're trying to make us into African Americans. Your history books don't even point to that. You got records that show that we are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You got a Bible that is in the host, that's in the top of the society, that's pointing that we're the Israelites. So if you want to talk about real multiculturalism, why don't you acknowledge that? So all of that is a complete lie. The whole point is to sow discord among any group that goes against their particular viewpoint. That's the point there. And the only reason why they are against the Klan, pretty much, because they are part of the Klan. They ain't no different. But the real objective is to come after this. For the quote-unquote Israelite movement to be labeled as something worse than Al-Qaeda. Didn't they say that? They say that the Israelite movement is a movement of extremism, and they said that extremists are worse than Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is credited for destroying minimum 3,000 people in 2 buildings in New York. The Twin Towers. When did all the Israelite groups put together did anything like that? Never. But we are worse. But the Israelite groups are worse than Al Qaeda. Y'all dig what I'm saying? They didn't even mention the Klan at this. The federal building was blown up by Timothy McVeigh, who was a member of a church, a devout member, and had associated ties with white supremacy. Dylan Roof, all of those guys. You don't hear them talk about none of that at all, but yet the Israelite movement is worse than Al-Qaeda. Y'all dig it? So if they can put that in the people's head, it'll make it easier for the people to come against us the same as they would the Klan. Give me my next video. Y'all all right? Y'all with me so far? Give me my next video. America's agenda against extremists. SPLC hopes that we will be attacked by, quote unquote, America. That's what I called it, because that's what it's representing. Hit it.
A disheartening reality in 2017, and President Trump summed it up in a tweet. Our great country has been divided for decades. Sometimes you need protest in order to heal, and we will heal and be stronger than ever before. Those words came Saturday, the same day an estimated 40,000 counter-protesters marched through Boston in response to a right-wing free speech rally.
Pause it.
It was a week.
So basically what you're looking at, you had the white racist groups that exercised their right to free speech. And when they did that, the anti-white groups ascended on them because they're saying we don't want no Nazis, we don't want no hate groups, this and that and the other. Y'all follow me? So they got the whole town basically was like against them. Go ahead, rightfully so. But I want you to understand that there's a difference between what they are about and what we are about. Go ahead.
Week after deadly clashes erupted at a white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, over the removal of a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. For many Americans, the violence in Charlottesville served as a sobering reminder that the white nationalist movement is still very much alive in this country, and the election of President Trump has energized their cause. Tony DeCopel was at the rally in Boston over the weekend. He also met with a self-proclaimed white nationalist who helped organize the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville.
No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA, no Trump, no KKK.
They're saying no Trump. Listen to what they're saying. No Trump, no KKK, no rest of that. That's what they're saying. Go ahead.
No fascist USA, no Trump.
Tony, you were in Boston. You spoke to some quote-unquote Antifa members. First of all, what is the Antifa movement, and what is it that those members had to say to you?
It's a disorganized collective of people who oppose fascism, authoritarianism, white supremacy, white nationalism, and they do it through violence and intimidation. And they put themselves on a higher moral plane because they feel like, look, we sent people overseas to fight the Nazis in World War II, we're going to fight them here.
It was really fascinating to see in your piece, Tony, this conversation that you had with a white nationalist by the name of Matthew Heimbach. And one of the things he talked about was political aspirations, encouraging white nationalists to run for the school board, to run for local office.
We care about economic, social, and political justice. Race is part of our platform.
That's political. You hear it? He said, because his agenda is about furthering their cause through politics. And political, meaning to overturn the statistics and make things work more in their favor. Politics would ultimately affect policy, which means how the government deals with all people. They want to be a part of that, like to make sure that black people get less resources in school, Hispanics get less resources in school, more opportunities for our people to go to jail, more gun violence, more dope, drugs, stuff like this here, because all of those things diminishes us, and at the same time, it'll preserve them. Y'all understand what I'm saying? That's political. That's their agenda, okay? They're saying that we are the opposite side of that, like we're trying to decrease white population with violence, and like we're supposed to be trying to get an supreme over them. Where in the hell did that kind of message come from with us? We never talk no foolishness like that. What are we all about? About fulfilling the laws of God, period. That's what we are about. We are about what's in this Bible. We are about what's in the Lord's Prayer. And because the Most High said that I pray for them, I pray not for the world, they hate Christ and they hate everybody that's with Christ. Y'all understand? That's the point. That's the point. Okay. Let's see. Am I going to play any? Do I need to play any more of that? Or y'all want to comment on anything y'all see? No? Yes? No? Everybody stuck? Okay, all right, all right. So basically, this is what you have. You have tensions between white supremacy movements and the American idealistic movement. And the reason, when I say American idealistic movement, I'm going to show you what's happening. The American idealistic movement actually means the Sodom agenda. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Everybody's lost. What's going on here? When I say the Sodom agenda, there's a wave, there is a political force in this country to get everybody into this LGBT, forget about your past, just be this melting pot of frolic, this melting pot of no discipline, those kinds of things. And that's where they want to take people's minds into. So that is the main populace. That's what SPLC is fighting for. Because under that, guys, we lose who we are. We lose what God told us to do. We lose our identity. We lose our heritage. We lose it all. Y'all dig it? So that's where the mainstream, what they call the mainstream, that's what they want the mainstream to be. But the hardliners are against the mainstream. And they're saying that we are representing the other side of that because we are against the mainstream, so to speak, but not for the reasons that the KKK and them are against it. We are only, quote unquote, against it because God is against it. Y'all understand the difference? Do y'all understand the difference? Okay, I'm making a lot of people nervous. I feel it. I feel that people are nervous. Can I get a witness? Any of y'all nervous? Y'all sure? They're nervous. I know they're nervous. They're going to wait till they get outside. I don't know if I'm coming back, man, Dave. Like I said, the American, this is my term, the American idealistic movement. And the reason why I had to give it a name so that you can understand that there's a difference between what you know as white supremacy movement and then you have this regular status quo type of movement. That's what I'm saying. Y'all understand? So the white hate groups are against the government, so to speak. That's what I put it that way. When they say they are against the government, they are against what the government is trying to do with everybody's thinking. They're saying, no, we're not with that. We want to turn America back to the fundamentalists, this, and the other. America says we have a different agenda. We want everybody to be, quote unquote, Americans, meaning lose your identity. Y'all dig it? God has a problem with that. And God doesn't have a problem with that the same way that the skinheads have a problem with that. Y'all understand the distinction? Do y'all understand the distinction? Okay, that's why I said the Lord's Prayer. I'm going to read that, and then it's going to be clear. It's going to be clear. So, like I said, the white supremacy stance is about a political statement. Our mission is different. Our mission is biblical, and it has absolutely nothing to do with politics. Totally different. I just want y'all to understand the difference. Y'all all right? This country and SPLC says that it's about God. But in reality, that only means their perverted version of the Bible and their perverted version of the teachings of Christ. So when they say that they are about the Bible, do they tell you about that Jesus is a black man? If you want to talk about multiculturalism, you got to admit that. They're not talking about that. But if we bring it out, they want to associate us with the damn Klan. The Bible is telling us that Jesus Christ had hair like lamb's wool and his skin was like brass burned in a furnace. That's in the Bible. But when we bring that out, because that goes against the Sodom agenda and the white supremacy movement, actually, because that's what it's really about. Because what they call multiculturalism ain't no multiculturalism because white people going to be on the top of that as well. Y'all dig what I'm saying? So as they're busy trying to sell you this idea that it's about multiculturalism, they'll call it that, but white man going to be on the top. So it's basically the same snake with two heads. Y'all dig it? That's the point that I want y'all to understand. We are not a mirror side of that. We are about the Bible. This is not about no black supremacy, none of that foolishness at all. I remember when people from the SPLC did an interview with Captain Joshua, she was shocked to find out that he wasn't quote unquote black like us. So there goes the black argument right there. So they had to change the definition. Then they had to just say hate group. Before it was black extremists. That's what they were trying to call us. But because of that, they had to change it. Because they said this is not going to go for it because they got Hispanics in there because they don't consider Hispanic. They try to divide the so-called Hispanics up from the blacks, so to speak. You understand? But all of those are the nation of Israel. But they tried. But once they saw it, they said, well, we really can't charge them with black supremacy because they got people in their organization that look like us. So it ain't a color thing. It is not a political thing. It's a biblical thing. That's the point. They don't operate that way. So you cannot put us as a mirror opposite of such a heinous group. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Are y'all starting to get it now? Okay. Still, I feel a little uncomfortableness with the brothers and sisters. That's okay. We're gonna get to some scriptures that are gonna help get your mind right. Y'all all right? The SPLC says that the Israelite movement represents the opposite or the other end of white supremacy. That's what I asked y'all in the beginning of today's class. And by them saying that, that's how they end up calling us a quote-unquote black supremacy group. No such thing. Or they call us BHIs, Black Hebrew Israelites. Okay? In other words, y'all are not the Israelites. That's number one. And two, y'all are a black group of people that are extremists and y'all are supremacists. Supremacy in what? What do black people control? Can't even get a chicken sandwich. What kind of supremacy is that? If we're going to kill each other over chicken sandwich, you would figure that we have enough supremacy to build our own chicken factory. If we are supreme, if we are pushing supremacy, we would have enough sense to come up with our own, black eyed peas chicken, whatever you want to call it. We could have made up something, huh? Black eyed peas and chicken sandwich. Come on, eat all you want. We ain't even got enough supremacy to do that, but they want to put us on the opposite end of a known white hate group as skinheads and KKK and all the rest of them. Totally different. All right. I'm about to get off that horse. There is a huge difference. Listen to me carefully, because this is the main point that I want y'all to understand. All of what I said earlier, I'm going to sum it up with this statement. There is a huge difference between black survival and white supremacy. Understand that. Okay? We have a concern because God tells us to preserve our people. Come together. O nation not desired. That's about preservation. Our concern is about preservation and survival. Why would you have to put survival? Survival is a totally different word than supremacy. Supremacy meaning that you don't have any problems. Supremacy means that you're already dominating everybody else and you want to stay there. People that are surviving are trying to eat. People that's trying to survive is trying to wake up and dodge bullets and dodge jail cells and dope. That's survival. Two different things. So if you got one person on the white end saying white power and all this, white supremacy, blah, 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 there's no threat to them. But if we on the other side is trying to tell us to get our families together, stop committing crimes against each other, love your neighbors, love your brothers and sisters, that's a survival technique. How are you going to put us in a category of supremacy, of black supremacy, simply because we're trying to get the rope off of our necks? So don't let people mess with you with words. Y'all understand? Okay. Now, give me my next video. I'm going to call this Sierra Leone's Cocoa for Chocolate. Cocoa for Chocolate. The very next video, just go down the line, hit the next one. This is a documentary, The Dark Side of Chocolate. Before we even hit the button, how many of y'all have any idea what this documentary is about? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I guess the rest of y'all don't have any idea at all. Again, is this about survival or is this about black supremacy? About what we're bringing out here? Huh? We're going to find out. Hit it.
Everyone loves chocolate. 3 million tons of it are consumed every year, half of it in Europe.
Pause it, pause it, pause it. All the chocolate that's made, half of it is consumed in Europe. That's what, and that's what it just said? So Europe is big on chocolate. Keep playing.
But the success of chocolate has a dark side. While first world kids are enjoying the sweet taste,
pause it.
Reality.
You can see words like first world kids. If you talk about multiculturalism, you should not have no words such as second world or third world people. If you're really talking about multiculturalism in a fair society, all of those things disappear. But if all of those things disappear, then you have no supreme ruler. You have no white people ruling over them. So this whole multiculturalism, hands across America, is garbage. Y'all understand that? Go ahead, play on.
Is rather different for Africa's children.
Back it up a little bit, because I think they missed the point. I was talking. Just a couple of seconds. Hit it.
Reality is rather different for Africa's children. According to a wide range of organizations, the chocolate industry is accused of covering up the trafficking of children and the use of child labor on the cocoa plantations.
The cocoa, pause it, cocoa plantations. Cocoa plantations. Sierra Leone has a large reserve of cocoa. That's one of their natural resources. Bauxite is one of the natural resources of Sierra Leone. Diamonds is one of the main mines from Sierra Leone. Diamonds, gold, silver. These are natural resources that belong to the Sierra Leonean people, so you can understand. If you want to talk about multiculturalism and all that other stuff, you got to leave that stuff with the people there. You cannot make policies that say that the people cannot manufacture their own resources. There's policies in place that causes the resources of Sierra Leone, for instance, to be taken out of Sierra Leone, manufactured, processed, and then sold back to the people for a price. And the prices that they can't meet them, they get a loan for their own merchandise, for their own resources. And because they cannot pay that loan back, that loan has an interest connected to it, which incurs debt every year. That's how come the Sierra Leone dollars is worth pennies compared to the U.S. dollar. 1 U.S. dollar is worth 10,000 Leone dollars. It's because of the robbery of the resources. Y'all understand? So if we make a noise about that, we're supremacists. Y'all understand? That's the trick bag. Y'all all right? Play on. So they got these different Mars. All these people are involved in this thing here. Go ahead.
We have decided to investigate these allegations. But the truth can be dangerous. We will go undercover with hidden cameras and assumed identities. Is it true that young children work as slaves in the chocolate industry?
Young children as slaves in the cocoa industry over there.
Our journey starts in Cologne, in Germany.
That's Germany. I just want y'all to look, as the film is playing, look around as you see the landscape in Germany. Look how that place looks. Go ahead, just play it.
Every year, the chocolate industry gathers to promote and sell their products. Chocolate that is primarily made of cocoa from cocoa pods. First, we want to find out where the cocoa is from.
The cocoa beans is from South America or Africa? Africa.
The question is, he said, where's the cocoa, pause it. He said, where's the cocoa beans from? One person says South America, because I know that's down there too. Check out that documentary called The End of Poverty. That's where I was making the reference when I was saying how they instruct policies that forbid the natives of manufacturing their own resources. Okay, policies are put in place to prevent them from doing that. So in South America, you have a region of cocoa that comes being extracted out of the South American countries. Okay, and also he's going to say that the Ivory Coast in Africa, there's another place where the cocoa beans come from. Y'all all right? Go ahead.
Cocoa is from.
The cocoa beans is from South America or Africa? Africa.
Elfenbeinküste. Africa and South America. Mostly from Ghana and
Ivory Coast?
Ivory Coast, yes.
Okay.
Mostly from Ghana?
Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast, yes.
The Ivory Coast is the world's largest cocoa producer. But rumors abound about child labor and the trafficking of children.
Where do you get the cocoa beans from?
The cocoa beans, they come from different regions in the world, but most of our cocoa beans, they come from Africa.
Okay.
Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana.
Do you know where the beans are coming from in Ivory Coast?
Yes.
You do, too.
So we have that tracking system that really goes back. We work with the three most important chocolate manufacturers in Belgium, which is Barry Callebaut, Cargill, and Belcolade.
Because I've heard rumors about, child labor and trafficking. Do you know anything about that?
They have, I think you then ideally speak about that subject with the people from Barry Callebaut, for instance, because they make sure and that they have plans and they work together with the cooperatives in those regions where people are paid properly for their cocoa beans.
Okay.
Am I hearing her right? What did she say? Nobody heard it. Nobody heard it. Nobody heard what she said. I'm just trying to see if anybody heard what she said, because I was trying to hear her. What did she say? Give him the microphone.
Shalom, leadership. She said that they get paid properly for it.
Okay, right. So basically, she's saying she's justifying what's happening. That's what she's doing. She's trying to say that they are being taken care of. Y'all know that when as the film roll on, you're gonna see that they ain't getting taken care of at all. Okay, but these are what you call answers of a politician. As a politician, politicians know how to talk like this here. You're gonna see another example of it when he speaks to the next person. Politicians are like professional liars. They know how to talk and make you feel like you're dumb as hell after you finish asking the question. They've been spun it around. You'd be like, damn, why did they even come up here? Have you feeling like that? Go ahead.
The Swiss company Barry Callebaut is the largest supplier of cocoa mass for the industry. Most of their cocoa comes from the Ivory Coast.
How many people have you employees in, for instance, in Ivory Coast?
You know, hold it. By a show of hands, if I say the Ivory Coast, who don't know what I'm talking about? Why is the Ivory Coast significant to us? Let me see some hands. How many of y'all don't know? How many of y'all do not know the reason why that particular place called the Ivory Coast, why is it significant to us? Who do not know? Okay, quite a few hands. The Ivory Coast is the area of the African continent where the majority of the slave ships picked up us. Okay? There's areas there's slave ports, slave dungeons, and holding cells where they held us for the next ship to come in to bring us to the Americas, to bring us to Jamaica, to bring us to all over the world in the slave trade. Okay, even in South America and Central America, slaves was brought to all those areas. Y'all understand that? Okay, that's the importance of the Ivory Coast. So this same Ivory Coast, where our people are, is where these things are being extracted from. Okay? Play on.
How many people have you employees in, for instance, in Ivory Coast?
In Ivory Coast particular, I don't know it by heart. In general, we have almost 1,000 people working in origin countries.
That's a lot.
Out of the 7,500, almost 1,000 people are working in origin countries.
What about the rumors? I've heard about rumors about child labor and trafficking. Does it exist? The trafficking of
He
kids?
said, what about the rumors? So I'm going to set your ears up so you can know what to listen for. The man asked him the question. He said, what about the rumors about child forced labor through trafficking? That's the question that he's asking. Listen to his answer.
What about the rumors? I've heard about rumors about child labor and trafficking. Does it exist, the trafficking of kids in Ivory Coast?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't know if these traffics exist, and if it exists, I presume that it is exceptional. I've been a few times now in those origin countries. These are things I haven't seen myself. But if it exists, okay, it's clear that it should be condemned, and this is, again, something which is absolutely unacceptable, of course.
So he basically, okay, shake his hand and leave. He basically just exonerated himself from the whole charge by saying, I just don't know. Politicians. That's like Ronald Reagan said, how you expect me to remember things way back then? About the Iran-Contra hearings. I'm going back too far. People don't know about it. They were asking him, did he know anything about that? And he almost made a joke out of it and said, well, I don't remember. I don't remember. Go ahead, play on.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Bye.
No one here seems to believe the rumors of child labor or trafficking. We decide to investigate further.
In other words, nobody was honest to tell us the truth, so we got to go further. Look at that place. Look at that place.
We are going to West Africa.
Hold it. Did y'all see the glamour of how that place is? The resources in Europe alone would not give them nowhere near the splendor that you saw. All of that is a result of pillaging and robbing the nations, robbing the poor, the so-called poorer countries, the third world countries. That's where all that glitz and glamour comes from. Okay? These are things that we just miss. But I wanted y'all to pay attention to all of that glitz and glamour. Because the woman said that the people are paid. So you would expect that with their payment, they'll be able to at least mimic something of what we just saw there, right? But we are, what they call us? We are extremists for just bringing this out. Y'all all right? Go ahead.
We are going to West Africa. Our first stop is Mali. Children are said to be smuggled from Mali to the cocoa plantations on the Ivory Coast. This is trafficking.
We're going to go to 9 minutes. 9 minutes and 15 seconds.
The trafficking of children should not actually be possible. The largest chocolate manufacturers signed an agreement in 2001. It's called the Haken-Engel Protocol. It states that child labor and the trafficking of children are prohibited in the cocoa industry after 2008.
So pause it. So what that meant, just in clear terms, that's telling you that any time before that, they were doing it in the open. Okay? So that doesn't mean it stopped. They just put paper to it. So that means that they'll find other ways to get it done. Go ahead.
We have arrived in Mali, one of the world's poorest countries. A country with little or no export.
Do that look like Germany? So what happened to all the payments and all that other stuff where they being paid for the, you see the difference? Go ahead.
With little or no export.
With little, hold it, they said with little or no export, meaning that they themselves cannot do any trade at all. Y'all see that? They don't get, in other words, they don't control the exports, the imports, and all, none of that. Just like in Jamaica, just like in Puerto Rico, just like in Santo Domingo, all in South America, none of the native people control their own exports or imports. That's all done by either France, America, Germany, other people are controlling those things. That's real white supremacy. And because the people in the background trying to get up, you're going to label them supremacists. Y'all all right? Just want y'all to understand the difference. All right, I think that's about it on that film, right? Get set for my next video. Get set for my next video. But before we do that, get my next video ready. What I want to say is about SPLC is that their attempt is to equate us, meaning us as Israelites, into the category of hate. Because we're speaking about these things here. They want to equate us into the category of hate. And that's why they associate us in their so-called hate watch and terror watch maps and stuff like this here. When you go online and you see these things and they put Israel United in Christ, they put this group, they put that group. And they actually have us on the same map with people that have murdered thousands of people, got a complete legacy of violence, dragging people behind trucks until their bodies are nothing but pieces of roast beef. Stuff like that. You want to equate us to things like that. But that's not by an accident. Y'all understand? Play my next video. Let me show you some more racism that's going on from the other side. And the reason why we are being the vanguards of this truth. And the reason why we have to continue to stay in this Bible. That's the main point. Play the next clip. From the beginning. How are schools funneling certain students into the prison system? Black people ain't funneling this. Hold it. If we are the opposite end, then how is it that we don't have white students that we're funneling them into the prison? We ain't doing that. Go ahead.
America's public schools are failing students in multiple ways. One of the most disruptive is the process by which students are funneled out of the public school system and into the juvenile justice system. It's called the school-to-prison pipeline, and there is increasing evidence that it starts as early as preschool. The school-to-prison pipeline... As early as
preschool, stop. As early as preschool. I've mentioned to y'all a few times, in particularly about boys, where this brother named Jawanza Kanjufu, he did research to find out that there was a conspiracy to destroy black boys. Okay, he had written books on it. Okay, and the point that he was making was that when our children enter into the school system, they are literally walking geniuses. Some of them reaching into the percentile of 98% on the intelligence of all students in their grades. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Some of our kids, some of our young black boys come into the school system, Head Start, first grade, second grade, and when they measure the intelligence of these kids, their intelligence level puts them in the 98th percentile out of 100, so you can understand, of all of the kids in this country. That's how brilliant our children are. But by the time they get to the fourth grade, they want to drop out of school because what begins to happen is that the teachers have low expectations of them, start to label them, call them troublemakers and things like this. And these labels begins to affect them. And then the next thing you know, they don't want to do nothing but play sports. Y'all understand? Just like what happened with Malcolm. So you can understand, when Malcolm got into the 8th grade, the teacher asked him, what do you want to be? And he said he wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer. And the teacher, same thought, said, can't do that. She said, why don't you be a street sweeper or something to that degree? Not to say that it's minuscule, but it was obvious as to why she was telling him that, meaning to kill his mind, kill his aspirations of being a critical thinker, being analytical, anything like that. So these things, when you hear that as a person that's aspiring greatness, and you have the person who you're trying to look up to, and they're telling you, no, you don't need to reach for that. Reach for something much lower than you. That kills your aspirations. That kills your drive. Y'all understand? So this is what happens to our kids in school. Play on.
It starts as early as preschool. The school-to-prison pipeline primarily victimizes Black students, trapping them in a cycle of discipline and incarceration, according to Dr. Kenneth D. Waters, diversity educator and researcher.
I want to believe that every student wants to overcome the societal predictions of what's placed on them because of their race, sex, and their socioeconomic status.
Increasingly, schools are cracking down on small offenses, such as cutting class or being disrespectful. This is supposed to discourage more serious infractions, like drug or weapons possession. But what constitutes disobedience or disrespect can be very subjective.
Okay, so he's making a point of basically saying that these young kids are not disciplined. And because they're not disciplined, things are put into their record. Things are recorded in their record, and it follows them. And then they begin to shunt them into other classes. He's problematic. ADHD, he doesn't pay attention. He gets suspended. And these suspensions stay on your record. And as you begin to continue in that particular line, in that cycle, it will begin to, you will begin to accept that. And then you will think that you're prone to criminality. Okay, go ahead. Play on.
A study in Texas found that 97% of the state's suspensions were for subjective reasons, made at the discretion of school administrators. And Black students were 31% more likely to receive discretionary suspensions than white students.
And it obviously affects the individual who's actually entering.
So how in the world is that happening? How is it that our kids are going in? Because that's the result of white supremacy. That's what it is. So-called black supremacy ain't got nothing to do with this. Y'all understand? Go ahead.
System, but you're affecting communities. You're affecting the economy. You're affecting families. You're affecting school systems.
Here's the point. What the man just said there. He said that when you do this, you'll affect a whole bevy of different sectors of your society. You will affect the economy. You will affect families. You will affect everything, businesses, everything. Because once you start to send a certain amount of the population to jail, the community is going to feel the brunt of that. Absent fathers going to mean daughters are going to grow up without fathers. Women are not going to have real husbands. That's the reason why you see what you see now. I believe statistically more men are born in this earth than women are. But how is it that women, when you get to college, it's like, I remember when I was at A&T, the ratio to men to women at the school was 8-to-1. 8 women to 1 available man. I don't know what it is now, but that's what the ratio was when I went there. That's what they told me. And some of us are so simple. They say, well, listen, you a homo, so I'm going to take your 8. You are this way, I'm going to take your 8. That's how some of us was thinking. But that was a joke that was going on around there. I was in the world, but y'all understand what I'm saying, right? But my point is that the ratio is that wide because a lot of our men never make it that far because they get caught up into things like what we're looking at. That's by design. So again, the Most High is telling us to gather ourselves together to prevent things like this here. That doesn't mean you're supremacy. Go ahead.
Penal system, but you're affecting communities. You're affecting the economy. You're affecting families. You're affecting school systems.
The disparity can start as early as preschool, when 48% of preschoolers who are suspended more than once are Black. Black students are 3 times more likely to be suspended or expelled than their white counterparts. And Black girls are suspended at higher rates than girls of any other race.
I want to believe every student is destined for success. They want to achieve. But more times now, we can't control certain things that happen in their homes. I had a student years ago. By the time they got to school, they said, hey, I walked through a crack house facility, prostitution. When I get here, I walk through a metal detector and people bother me. And I haven't eaten since lunch yesterday. And you're asking me to sit here in class and learn? There's a challenge.
When students are kept out of school as punishment, They miss lessons and assignments and fall behind academically. They are also more likely to be disciplined again, which can lead to further problems. The Texas study found that students who had been suspended or expelled were twice as likely to drop out. Adding to the problem, police officers stationed inside schools to prevent serious crimes. When these officers react overzealously to minor infractions, they make small problems worse. Schools with officers have 5 times as many arrests for disorderly conduct as schools without them. But there are solutions.
We need more of our educators to take a genuine interest in the whole student as opposed to what they want to teach on a board and so forth. Do not be quick to actually discipline them, but be more mindful of the predicament they may be coming from and have an understanding of why they're doing what they're doing. Now, I'm not saying take away the discipline, but as you're adding that disciplinary act or that consequence, you're explaining, why am I doing this? You're explaining the reason I am disciplining you is because this happened, and this is how you can fix this down the line. I'm showing genuine interest.
Pause it. What I'm going to jump from this now. I'm going to go into the scriptures. But what I want to say in terms of this here, you notice that a lot of the infractions that come upon our children in the school system is a result of disciplinary, right? And when they said that you cannot discipline your children at home, your children go to school undisciplined, and then if you're not disciplining them, guess who's going to discipline them? The police. Okay? If we don't discipline our children, they're going to face the knife, they're going to face the mace, they're going to face the 9mm, they're going to face jail time. And that's the setup. So our kids go to the schools, and what happens? The little bit of infraction, they start labeling them, putting the things on them, and that's priming them for the jail system. We pointed out that in the 13th Amendment, it makes the provision that allows these children to actually become slaves, become property of the state through the 13th Amendment. Y'all understand what I'm saying with that? So it's all a system. And because we recognize that, and we follow what the Bible says in terms of we have to watch out for our children, we have to watch out for our families, we have to do these things to prevent these troubles from coming upon us. That's not supremacy, that's survival. Y'all understand? All right. All right, I'm done with the videos for now. Put up my definition. I have, the next thing was about the labeling theory, okay? I'm going to read something off the screen. Let me see if I got it here. Let me see, just give me a second. The labeling of hate group or supremacy group, that label is actually relevant to white groups. Y'all understand that? But to us, and IUIC in particular, that label is not relevant. It has no place with us at all. So when you use the term supremacy and hate group and all of that, that's relevant to the white side. But that has nothing to do with us. Our thing has nothing to do with that at all. Just wanted to put that out there. Labeling theory. Okay. Labeling theory is a theory of how the self-identity and behavior of individuals may be determined or influenced by terms used to describe or classify them. It is associated with the concepts of self-fulfilling prophecy or stereotyping. That's the part that I wanted y'all to see. In other words, if you constantly label somebody something, they will begin to fulfill what you label them. If you tell a pretty girl that she's ugly, over and over again, she will feel like she's ugly. If you tell us that our black skin makes us inferior, we will actually begin to believe that. Y'all understand me? This is factual. This is why names and labels are so important. So the reason why I'm doing this section of the class is for us to never allow us to be shunted into a position of saying that we are a hate group or it's black supremacy. We have nothing to do with that at all. That's my point. Of all of what I just showed you there, I'm showing you that there's a complete difference between what was done to us. All of those bad situations that we just went through, the school pipeline, us being lynched, the cocoa slavery, all of that has to do with hatred and racism towards us. Our situation has absolutely nothing to deal with that. Okay? History is not a lie, especially biblical history. Now let's get into the scriptures. Give me Deuteronomy 28. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 47 to 50. History is not a lie, and biblical history is certainly not a lie. Okay?
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness.
This was a statement that was made to the Israelites. Go ahead.
With joyfulness and gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things.
Go ahead.
Therefore shall thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and the want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
So we are in this captive state of mind. We're in this captive situation. And when we repent to the Lord to get out of this, that doesn't make you a supremacist. That makes you of trying to survive the curses that fell on us because of disobedience. It's a big difference. Go ahead.
Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Go ahead.
A nation of fierce countenance.
A nation of fierce countenance. That's the hate that we're facing. Go ahead.
Which shall not regard the person of old.
They did not regard the person of old. When our people got old in the slave fields, instead of taking care of them, they gave them some poison to kill him. Because he's a liability, because he can't work. He's too old to work. He's too old to give me any kind of production. So to get rid of my liability, I feed him some poison and get rid of him. No regard for the old. Go ahead.
Nor show favor to the young.
Nor show favor to the young. Y'all saw, even with all of the terrible situations that we could talk about, like what we were just talking about with the slavery in the cocoa situation there. But that happens to us whole scale over here. Look at the recent situation with our sons and our daughters missing. 65,000 women missing. No regard for them at all. And there's a lot of, and like that article that you brought up yesterday, it was mainly our women. How many of y'all saw the program last night on the radio program? So that statistic that you brought out was factual. So it's our people that's catching this. And nobody's making no real outcry about it. And because we're crying out about it, we're making noise. We're making black supremacy noises. Is that what it is? Go ahead. Read.
Verse 51.
Nope. No, 50.
Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Nor show favor to the young. So they don't care about our young kids. They don't care about our adolescents. They don't care about our old people. They don't care about any of that at all. And if you even try to speak about surviving, we're going to label you. That's basically what's happening. We ain't commit no acts of violence against anything. We're out there trying to save our people, trying to bring our people into the good graces of God. That's what we're trying to do. There's no violence coming from us. But for you to equate us with people that are actually doing terrible actions, that's wicked as hell. I do have one more video. Play that video. It's going to be on a different level. Play this video here. Watch this here. Just have no favor to the young or the old. Watch this. Y'all going to get the picture after this. Hit it.
Law enforcement, people buying a small part that turns a Glock pistol into a mini machine gun capable of firing dozens of rounds within seconds.
The part is not only dangerous, it's illegal. But as WGN Investigates has learned, it is turning up in Chicago. Local law enforcement has arrested 2 people, and they're looking for more.
Did y'all hear that? Pause it. There's a device that you could put on a 9mm Glock pistol that causes it to fire like a machine gun. And where is it? In Chicago. It ain't in Beverly Hills. It ain't in the Hamptons. Y'all all right? But where is it at? In Chicago, where there's a horrible situation with us having a hatred towards each other. We're going to allow more of those things to get in there so you can do even more damage. Here we are. We had the march in Chicago, no media coverage. But as soon as the march was over, the cameras went in there and recorded that people shot themselves and all that, and that got amplified. Nothing was amplified about stop the violence, but what was actually amplified was start the violence. Again. Y'all all right? That's what we're dealing with. Play on.
This is a Glock 17. And so is this. In fact, it's the same gun. The difference is an illegal part known as an auto sear or switch that when fitted onto the back of a Glock handgun transforms it from semi-automatic to a fully automatic pistol, similar to what bump stocks.
So we're knocking out bump stocks. I've told the NRA, I've told that bump stocks a gun.
Banned last year by the Trump administration can do for rifles.
Glock would never authorize that.
Don Haworth is a retired Marine,
slide lock,
and a local firearms expert.
Put your thumb right here, and you can pull it out. I'm a little bit concerned that if it gets in the wrong hands, it could create some problems.
But that may have already happened. WGN Investigates has found the ATF identified more than 2,500 individuals nationwide who may have obtained an illegal switch. At least 118 people, possessing a total of 256
Remember,
switches,
this is Chicago
fall
now.
within the ATF's Chicago Field Division, an area that includes parts of neighboring Indiana and Wisconsin. They're not exactly hard to find. In most cases, the part was ordered online from sellers outside the U.S.
So pause it for a second. I remember making a point about when I was in Harlem and I used to see these little crack vials all over the ground, little red top, blue top, and all that. And I would ask, I said, where in the hell do these little things come from? Because they don't have any factories that make these things here. Where do they come from? Same thing with this here. How in the world, and you're going to see. As a matter of fact, let it play before I even say anything else.
Was trying to arrest the buyers and seize the illegal switches.
There's no conceivable reason for this device. There is none.
Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart's office recently arrested 2 people accused of buying switches from China.
There you go. There you go. They end up getting this thing here. It's not even made in Chicago nowhere, not even made in the country. How in the hell did these guys get this? That's the same question that I asked about these crack vials. How in the world did they get these? They don't make this stuff here, but how is it that they so conveniently land in these hands? And you can turn a 9mm gun. 9mm gun hold like about 10. You know, and if you put this thing in it, you can get like 14 out of it. But now they got this thing that you put on it, and you could just fire. That's when a knucklehead's gonna fight over a chicken sandwich. He ain't gonna just shoot one bullet. He gonna put that and gonna get damn near everybody in the line, babies, women, everybody. That's multiple deaths of what that little thing just allowed. Y'all understand? We're not putting that in white neighborhoods. We're not. I'm just showing you that there's a complete difference. So y'all understand. These are the things that we have to deal with, okay? That we have to deal. Play on a little bit more of that, and then I'm going to get back to my scriptures.
People will continue to try to acquire these because for someone who's involved with like drive-by shootings, gang members, and things like that, it's good for them. And it changes basically the entire nature of the gun.
It changed the nature of the gun. Go ahead.
Department of Homeland Security, Dart's officers recently arrested 22-year-old Javion Burton Allen.
So he's a property of the state. Jail time. He's a slave in the state. Go ahead.
2 switches to his Bridgeport home. The package officers intercepted had been addressed to John Wick.
He called himself John. Like, you want to say something on that?
Assassin
Go ahead. Y'all too quiet, man.
I also wanted to bring out, just like he was saying, Chicago. I remember it was a video of a guy from Chicago. He moved from Chicago because of the lifestyle up there. But he was saying that they dropped crates of guns in alleyways and places in the black community that you walk down through there, young men open up crates and finding guns that they ain't never seen before. Then they take those particular guns that's been remanufactured and go to a regular gun store to find whether the clips or the accessories to go with them guns. And the people at the gun store say, "Where'd you get this from? This ain't normal. We don't have nothing that accompany with this gun." So where is that coming from again? Like Dick, you were saying, makes no sense.
The majority of the murders that take place in all of the inner cities are done with what, fighting? Yes. Now I'm talking about regular fighting like fists. How are they dying? All by weapons. How are they getting these weapons? Not one of us manufacture anything. But it's just like what you said. That's not hard to believe. They drop that doggone thing there just like they bring the dope in. The same thing. It's the same thing. And because we're speaking about it, that doesn't put us in the category of a supremacist. Man is supposed to be responsible for his people. Is supposed to be responsible for his family. A little bit more on that. Play it.
Played by Keanu Reeves.
But they absolutely do know these switches are something they can't possess, and they go to great lengths to try to hide it.
When sheriff's officers showed up to arrest Devontae Murphy in Calumet City.
There's another one.
First you went towards the front, right, ma'am? Yes. This is where the package was found, right here.
The 26-year-old jumped off his balcony and took off running.
So he took the leap of faith off of here?
Yeah.
You seeing that, right, boss?
Police caught up with Murphy and tracked down the switches with the help of a canine. Dart says in these cases, there's a lot of luck involved.
These things are so small.
And because the switch is so small, it can be challenging to track.
Most of it is trying to intercept things coming through the mail.
Dart says the part sells online for up to $120. Some even sport a bogus Glock logo to appear as if it's made by the gun manufacturer, which it is not.
Glocks do not come with Glock on the slide.
Chicago police tell us they're confiscating more switches too, like the one on this handgun in the center. But they don't know of a shooting where one was used, although that is the fear.
All it could do is just harm more and more individuals.
Again, the switches are not manufactured.
You notice that it's much easier to find out how to do evil than it is to do good. You could turn on, like I said, you could be in the inner city and you can ask around and somehow you can end up with that device. You can end up with any kind of dope. You can end up with any kind of weapon. Just be there long enough and talk. Just talk a little bit. You'll end up getting it. But try to do something positive and you won't find nothing. Try to do something upright and righteous. You won't find that. Can't get the help, can't get the bank loan, can't get the people to organize, nothing. But if you want to do some wickedness, that comes a dime a dozen.
I can tell you this: if I've been away from the game for a while, I think we all have in many cases. But I can probably go back to the neighborhood, and I can go and find a gun, just like Dick talked about. It won't take me long, just a couple of phone calls, a couple of people. I guarantee you, I can find a gun. It won't be a problem. Probably less than an hour. I've been gone for a while. I've been gone since a long time, since '93. The game is still there. You can get a gun. You can still get a gun.
In New York, same story. Find it anywhere. Hoes, prostitutes, dope addicts, crack, heroin, all that. They're all up there. Psalms 83. This is what we're up against, okay? Now I'm just going to go through these scriptures and then I'm going to get to the point of why I did this class.
Psalms.
Which is coming up. We're going to do a lot of reading now. Let's get through it.
Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1.
No, second verse.
Verse 2. For lo, thy enemy...
Well, read verse 1. Read verse 1. You're right. Read verse 1.
Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thy silence, O God.
The prophet David is saying, keep not thou silence, O Lord. Go ahead. Because the vision is that we're going to catch hell. So we need those prayers. We need those blessings. We need for the Lord to step in. Go ahead.
Hold not thy peace.
Well, this was a song from Asaph, the musician of David. I just wanted to clear that up. Read.
and be not still, O God.
He said, hold not thy peace and be not still, O Lord. Go ahead.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult.
Thy enemies have gathered themselves together. They made a tumult. They're angry about the rise of Israel. The SPLC is angry about the rise of Israel. The Sodom agenda is angry about the rise of Israel. Go ahead.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee. So wait a minute. They calling us a hate group, but the Bible is telling us that our enemies hate us. Go ahead.
And they that hate thee have lifted up their head.
Have lifted up their head against us and the Most High. Because they're not supposed to be lifted up. That's not hate speaking. That's the Bible. Understand the difference. This is the Bible that we're reading. Ain't no, so these skinheads, what Bible are they reading? Talking about their Christian organization. That's BS. How in the world are they going to talk about a Christian organization with the Bible being the center of so-called Christianity, and in the Bible it describes Jesus as the black man and they run around talking about nigger? Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against the people of the Lord. Crafty counsel is all what we just showed you. That's crafty counsel. Bringing dope into your neighborhood and then step back and say you're the criminal. That's crafty counsel. Setting your kids up to fail in a school-to-prison pipeline is crafty counsel. Setting up the court system, the Constitution, to have an amendment and a loophole in it for the provision of your sons and daughters to end up being property of the state. That's crafty counsel. Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
And they have consulted against thy hidden ones. They've hidden our nationality. They're not Israelites. They are black extremists. Hidden. Go ahead.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. That is an act of hate. So this multiculturalism, Sodom agenda that they're talking about is BS. They don't really mean that. They mean what we're reading here. Cut them off from being a nation. And then you come join us with a question mark in your head. That's how we want you. Go ahead.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That the name of Israel may be no more in your head. That it may be no more in your remembrance. Don't even want us to know our history or nothing. That's an act of hate. Go ahead.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
What verse are you in?
Verse 5.
So they all got together with one consent to do this. So we are the nation that's attacked. We are the nation that's hated. This is not us being on the other end of the spectrum of hate. This is about survival. That's what this is. That's what I want us to understand. Give me Ezekiel 35. Ezekiel 35 and 1. We're going to read some more about this hatred towards us. And this is the reason why, because as I get through it, you're going to see where the class is going to go. It's going to make the sense that I was telling you in the beginning, that we are not a hate group. We are a God group. We are a spiritual group that believe in the words and the prayers of the Lord. That's what I'm going to bring out. But I got to read these scriptures here. Ezekiel 35 and 1.
Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir.
Mount Seir is Esau. That's his homeland, so you can understand. Mount Seir is where the Edomites dwelt. The scriptures say, thus dwelt Esau. It said, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Okay? So that's their homeland. Okay? Give me that. In Genesis, I think it's 38 or 36 and 1. 36 and 8, right? Yeah, 36 and 8. Read that for them real quick so they'll know why it's using that. For those of you that don't know, again, this is biblical. This is not emotional rant. I'm just giving you absolute facts. Do y'all see that, brothers and sisters?
Genesis chapter 36 and verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
That's crystal clear. So that's where they're from. That's the range of mountains that the Most High gave them. Okay? Go back to where we was at.
Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 2.
So that's letting you know that Esau is who this is talking about. Who's saying this? God.
Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee.
The Lord said he's going to stretch out his hand against Edom. Go ahead.
And
so how in the world are we racist for reading this? How in the world are we a hate group for reading this? Never accept that label. Go ahead.
And I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord.
And thou shalt know that I am the Lord when I lay this nation down, when I lay Edom down. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
Hold it. Because thou hast had a what?
A perpetual hatred.
An ongoing hatred. That's the hate. And it ain't just talking about the so-called skinheads. It's talking about all of them. Thou hast, even the ones that's talking about they want you to be multicultural, like what's that woman named Heidi? She said that she wants us to get to a society where we're just fully multicultural. No. The Bible says that they all have a perpetual hatred. Because if it wasn't about hatred, you would not say that. You would say, let them have theirs, you have yours, you have yours, you have yours, but they're not about that at all. They'll say that's what they want, but at the end of the deal, you will see them sitting at the top of the table controlling everybody else. It's just a remix of this Babylon here. That's what they're looking for. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. In the time that their iniquity...
In the time of our calamity was when the Most High was jacking us up for breaking his laws. That's what our time of calamity was. Our time of calamity was paying for when we broke God's law. So he said, because of that, I'm going to have you punished. So that's what he meant when he says, in the time of our calamity. Read.
In the time that their iniquity had an end.
But the Most High said there was a time when you were supposed to stop afflicting them. You were not supposed to continue to afflict us. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God.
Because you went over the boundaries.
I will prepare thee unto blood.
I'm going to set you up now. You're going to catch it now. Who's saying this? God. Because we're reading it, of course your enemies are going to say you are a hate group because we're reading what God said. Understand the difference. The KKK ain't doing that. Their whole mission is political. That got nothing to do with the Bible, what they're doing. What we're talking about is biblical. Go ahead.
I will prepare thee unto blood.
The Most High say he's going to prepare them unto blood. Come on.
And blood shall pursue thee.
And blood is going to pursue them. That's God speaking. I'm not going to water down his words. That's what he said. Go ahead.
Since thou,
that's what Sith means. Since thou
has not hated blood.
Since thou has not hated to shed blood.
Even blood shall pursue.
Even your blood going to be shed. That's what it means. Even your blood going to be shed. Go ahead.
Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate.
Thus, that's the way. That's what thus means. That is the way I'm going to make Mount Seir most desolate, by doing what it just said there. Go ahead.
And cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth.
That means he's going to cut his neighbors off. He's going to cut his sons off. He's going to cut his legacy off. He's going to cut all that off. His name, he ain't going to have his name on a piss pot when it's done. That's what he's saying. That's in the book of Isaiah, so you can understand. That's what he means by that statement there. Let me get that real quick. Isaiah 14, just so you know what it meant by that part there. He said he's going to cut them off. That, what verse was that? That was, no. Yeah, that's the verse that you're looking for. But I mean, the verse that was verse 7. It's in Ezekiel 35. Yeah, that's the verse that I'm precepting. Isaiah 14, 20, what is it? 21?
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers.
The Most High said, prepare slaughter for his children for the crimes that their fathers have committed. Go ahead.
That they do not rise.
That they do not rise.
Nor possess the land.
Nor possess the land no more.
Nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Meaning he's going to totally eliminate them. That's what he's talking about there. That's God speaking. Okay? Is there more on that?
Verse 22. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name, and remnant and son and nephew.
You see that? He's going to cut their name out. He's going to cut their legacy. He's going to destroy them completely. Who's saying that? God. That's the point. Now go back to Ezekiel 30, 35 and 7. So you can understand why it said what it said there.
Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 7. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate.
That's the way that I will make Mount Seir most desolate, by doing what I just said there. That's what the Most High is saying. Go ahead.
And cut off from it him that passeth, and him that returneth.
And cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. Is that what it said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the Most High say he's going to cut off the whole line. That's what it mean there. Who's saying this? God. Now, so you can understand that's because of this perpetual hatred that he had against the children of Israel. Okay? That's what that means. Jump down to, I think it's verse 10.
Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 10. Because thou hast said.
This is the reason why.
These two nations and these two countries shall be mine.
Hold it. What two countries did this man take? Let's read that again. Let's get that whole verse.
Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 10.
This is letting you know that the Most High got it. So we ain't got to worry about the SPLC's attack or they're attempting to malign us and the bad labeling. None of that's going to work. God's going to set his prophets and his nation up regardless. Read that again.
Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine.
These two nations and these two countries shall be mine. Go ahead.
And we will possess it.
And we will possess these two countries. Go ahead.
Whereas the Lord was there.
Whereas the Lord was there. Who knows what that means? Whereas the Lord was there. Who knows what that means? Stand up in the back. Wait. Who don't know what it means? Hands up. Be honest. Who don't know what it means? Ladies, y'all too. Sisters, hands up. They don't know what it means. That's good. So now you're going to get some education. The brother in the back said he knew, right? What does that mean? Read it again for him.
Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 10. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it.
And we will possess these two countries, and I'm going to say that they are my countries, right? Go ahead.
Whereas the Lord was there.
Whereas the Lord was there. What that part mean?
Shalom leadership.
Shalom.
Brother Zacchaeus.
Where you at? Okay.
Right here.
Yes, sir.
So the two nations was the two kingdoms, Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom.
That's good. You know what? You're good. But it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than you're right, because literally it's talking about those two people.
Is it Israel and here in
Yes,
America?
that's the answer. That's the answer. It's not, when it says these two countries, because just like the brother said, he took Northern Kingdom and he took Southern Kingdom, right? So that's what we're reading, because the perpetual hatred has been done to both kingdoms. But it's going deeper than that. The land of Israel, the Jews was there. They took that. Did they not? They got so-called Jews running up around it talking about, come to Israel, come stay with friends. Y'all understand that? The real Israelites are not over there running nothing. You got a few of us that's trying to get some colonies and all that, but that's not, they don't run it at all. Whereas the Lord was in Israel, guess where the other country is? Just like who said? What's the other country? America. Watch this.
Verse.
Hold it. See the name of this book? You see the name of this book here? Let me put it on the screen. The name of this book is called Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. You know why they call it the promised? When they say the promised lands, what lands are they talking about? The lands of the Americas, where the Northern Kingdom inhabited. That's what the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra, was talking about. This book talks all about that. How many of y'all ever heard me read out of this book? Read the sections out of this book. So y'all know what I'm talking about. When the Native Americans, when the conquistadors came there, and they told the conquistadors that we are from the tribe of Reuben, and that the tribe of Joseph is on an island nearby. So they knew that they were the Israelites. What did Edom do? Took the land from them and called it America. So they took Israel and they took the United States. They took the Americas. That's why this man wrote this book and called it. Why did he call it Promised Lands? Because he knew that this land was promised to Gad. That's why. He knew that. These researchers are not stupid. They dig into our history. They find these kinds of things out. That's why I say history is not a lie, and neither is our Bible a lie. This goes along with the Bible. Y'all understand that? So the scriptures say, thou hast had a perpetual hatred against both of these kingdoms, against both the whole nation of Israel, northern and southern kingdom. That's what we're talking about. Y'all all right? We're going to throw that little nugget in there. Get back to my scriptures. Now, let's go to Luke. Because when we read out of Ezekiel 35, the 5th verse said, because they have had a perpetual hatred against us. And they took the lands from us and occupied it. And then when we even thought to even survive, they said that we're a hate group. And some of us are crazy enough to believe that. Luke chapter 21:20. We're going to read some more, how they feel about us. Luke 21:20.
Luke chapter 21 and verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
This is Jesus telling us about the onslaught that the Roman Empire, the Edomites, was going to come against the children of Israel. We're going to come against the southern kingdom, actually. That's who was primarily in Jerusalem at this time. Okay, because northern kingdom had already gone. Northern kingdom had already gone during the time of the Persians. They was already over in the Americas. So primarily the people that was left in Jerusalem at that time was basically Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay, that's what we're reading about here. Read that again. This is what Christ told the brothers in the southern kingdom, the 3 tribes that was there. Read.
Luke chapter 21, verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is not nigh.
Then know that the desolation is near, meaning the destruction that is described in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. That's the destruction that we knew about because we've been reading it. So Christ said, well, you know about that destruction that's written there? It's getting ready to come. And the sign to let you know that it's coming is when you see the armies of Rome surrounding Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out.
So those, he says, then let them which be in Judea flee to the mountains. The mountains was talking about into the further interiors of Africa. Canaan is already in Africa, so you can understand. But to flee further down into it. Go ahead. In Egypt, so you can understand. When you read about Joseph, when Mary and Joseph hid Christ because Herod was looking to kill him. Read.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
And don't let the Israelites that are scattered abroad, like we would come every year to celebrate certain high holy days. The Most High, as Christ is telling us, at this time, none of that's going to happen because Jerusalem is getting ready to be destroyed. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance.
Why? Because these be the days of the Romans' vengeance upon us. That was done by the Most High. That was the time of our calamity, so you can understand that we was reading earlier. Read on.
That all things which are written.
That all things that are written in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter.
May be fulfilled.
But that was supposed to come to an end at some point, but they kept going. So the Most High said, because of that, I'm going to set you up to get it. Go ahead.
But woe unto them that are with child.
But woe, meaning destruction unto our people, our mothers that had children, our fathers that had their wives and their children. He said, but woe be unto them that got little babies with them. Come on.
And to them that give suck in those days.
To them that give suck in those days, meaning a little suckling baby. Go ahead.
For there shall be a great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
For there will be great distress in the land because the Romans was going to come in and cut us up like nothing. Going to leave our bodies all on the ground, all that, and not even bury us. You can read that history when you get into the book of Psalms, chapter 79, like 1 to 3, something like that. You can read a good lump of this history here about how the heathen has come into our inheritance, and they said the bodies of thy saints have they left on the ground. Didn't even bury us. Go ahead.
Verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
And our people fell by the edge of the Roman swords. The Romans literally came in and was chopping up our people with no hesitation at all because they had that extreme hatred against us. Go ahead.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
And the ones that they didn't kill, they brought us into slavery. They brought us into captivity. Go ahead.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the nations.
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until their time is up. So who's in Jerusalem? Esau, the so-called white man. He's there. Okay. And who took over the promised lands here? Esau again. These two nations and these two countries, they shall be mine. Okay? Give me Daniel. So that's going to last until the Most High sends the bombs. And all that's going to change. That's what we was talking about with Ezra, the parting asunder of the times. We're in those times now where this thing is about to flip over. Y'all all right? Daniel chapter 9, verse 11.
Daniel chapter 9 and verse 11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us.
Therefore, the curse is poured out upon us. The curse is talking about Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, also Leviticus 26. Go ahead.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
So the oath that is written in the law of Moses, that's the Deuteronomy and the Leviticus. That's the oath that the Most High is going to bring upon us because we have sinned. Go ahead.
And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us.
And the Most High have confirmed his words. How did the words get confirmed? Huh? By history. We can actually go back and look and read about how we confirmed it. It's been confirmed because we literally, like we was reading, and give me Revelation 11 and 3. This is how it's confirmed. This is how it's confirmed. Revelation 11 and 3.
Revelations chapter 11 and verse 3. And I will give power unto my two witnesses.
The nation of Israel, both kingdoms. Go ahead.
And they shall prophesy 1,260 days.
And we shall prophesy 1,260 days. That's 350 years of our captivity here. So all that captivity that come all the way back from Jerusalem all the way up to the Americas is what we're reading about here. Go ahead. But it's making specifics to our captivity in this country. That's why it's using the term 1,260 days. Read that again.
Verse 3, and I will give power unto my two witnesses.
What is the power that he going to give to the two witnesses? We never really broke that down. What is the power that he gave unto his two witnesses that is talking about in this verse? The power to be the prophecy of what this Bible is talking about. The power is the history and the knowledge of when you read that, you say, wow, you are the people that made this, that have confirmed the words of the Bible. Read that again.
And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days.
That's the 350 years when you break it down.
Clothed in sackcloth.
Clothed in slavery. That's what the sackcloth means, slavery. So when we was in slavery, we were prophesying all of Deuteronomy 28. That's the power that was given to us to prophesy what's written in Deuteronomy. That's how his word is confirmed. Y'all understand that? Who's lost? Who did not understand it? Who understood what I just said? Y'all sure? All right. Go back to where we was at. And he has confirmed in Daniel.
Daniel chapter 9 and verse 12. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judge us.
Go ahead.
By bringing upon us a great evil.
That's the slavery. The great evil is Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter that we prophesied about in the living conditions of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Our living conditions confirmed the prophecies. Go ahead.
For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem.
That right there lets you know that we're the Israelites, because nobody else fits this but us. That's how you know that this is not no hate group and all that foolishness. That lets you know that we are the people of this Bible. Go ahead.
Verse 13. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us, yet may we not, our prayer before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth.
So all of this has happened to us. All this evil that we've been reading about have happened to us, all from Psalms through Ezekiel, through Luke, Daniel. All this has happened to us because we refuse to do what the Most High said. It said, because, he says, yet we made not our prayer before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth. We haven't done that. Okay? Zephaniah 2 and 1. Zephaniah 2 and 1. Zephaniah 2 and 1. Like I talked about yesterday, we went over on the radio program. A lot of times we don't understand commandments when we read them. This actually is a commandment that we're about to read here. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. This is a commandment for us to do.
Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
That is a commandment. He's not asking us. It's not a suggestion. He's telling us for us to gather ourselves together. Go ahead.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together. O nation not desired.
O nation that is hated. O nation that's not desired is a nation that is hated. If we are hated, do you think people are sitting back and just hating us and sitting in a chair? No. If they're hating us, there's actions that's being done to make sure that we remain a non-desired people that keeps us on the bottom. There's actions involved in that hatred, and that's what we've been reading about, and that's what we were showing in the videos earlier. I know I wore your eyes out with all the videos, but I wanted y'all to get the understanding that there's not just biblical, it's historical about all of the atrocities that has happened to us. And all of that is an action of hatred towards us. O nation not desired. Us understanding that means that there's things that we must do to offset this hatred. What is the Most High telling us to do? Gather ourselves together. He ain't telling us to go out and get into no violence. He ain't telling us to go hang nobody. He ain't telling us to do none of that. Like what these white groups are doing, sending people into churches and trying to blow people away and all that. We ain't doing no mess like that. How in the world are you going to equate what we're doing with what they're doing? The Lord tells us, how do you combat this? By gathering together and keeping my commandments. That's what the Lord is telling us to do. That's his commandment. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation that is hated. So if we understand what it means to be hated, that means that there's actions coming towards us to destroy us. There's things that's coming our way to destroy our children, to destroy our fathers, to destroy our mothers, to destroy our girls and all that. We have to understand that the Lord tells us how to keep our daughters in, how to watch over our sons. Don't have them get caught up in gangs. Don't have them committing crimes. Keep the laws. Do not steal. Do not rob. Do not rape. Take care. If you're going to sleep with your sisters, marry her. That kind of thing. All of that is how the Lord wants us to keep our nation together. That's what the Lord is telling us to do. O nation not desired, gather together in that respect. He said, don't worry about the others. I'll take care of that. But I need you to do what I said and gather yourselves together. That is what he's telling us. He's demanding us to do that. Read on.
Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 2. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
So the Lord said for us to gather ourselves together before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon us. So that's a commandment. That's not something that we could do. But he said, if you don't do this, the fierce anger of the Lord is going to become on you. So that is not something that we could do by choice. That is a commandment that we must do. There's a judgment for us that if we don't do this, he says the Lord's fierce anger is going to come upon us when we don't come together. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth.
The meek of the earth meaning the obedient to God's laws, to the obedience of gathering yourselves together. The Lord said, listen, I need you to gather yourselves together. We are the meek, and we're saying, yes, Lord, we will do that. Go ahead.
which have wrought his judgment.
Go ahead.
Seek righteousness.
We are to seek righteousness. We got the Lord's judgment, the Lord punishment. That's what it meant when it said that we have wrought his judgment. The Lord punished us, and then he said, in that punishment, we are to seek righteousness. Go ahead.
Seek meekness.
Seek obedience. Go ahead.
It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger.
And if you do this, you may be hid during the day of the Lord's anger. So we have to come together, like the scriptures say. This is not a choice. This is something that we have to do. If we don't, then we're going to face the Lord's anger. That's the point. We're going to face the Lord's anger. Give me Daniel chapter 7, verse 27 now.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 27. In the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High.
So the Most High is saying that he's going to give to the saints. You know what? Start at verse 25.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. And
This is the beast that's over us. This is Esau. And this beast, this fourth kingdom, so you can understand exactly what it's talking about, this fourth kingdom is this country. The rulership, Rome, being established again after the Renaissance. That's the captivity that we're under. That's what God is talking about. Read that verse again.
Verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
And this same beast shall speak great words against the Most High. Go ahead.
And shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
And shall wear out the saints of the Most High. We're the saints that are worn out in slavery. With dope being pushed in our communities, with our children getting sent off to jail, with abortion clinics all over the place, illegitimate children where fathers are locked up in jail and all of that. These are the terrible things that have worn us out. Read.
And think to change times and laws.
This same beast will change times and laws. He done turned the Bible upside down. Got the people thinking that he's about the real Christianity, the Christians in the church. Got the people thinking that all that mess that's going on in the church is really about what God is about. He should change times and laws. He did change the times with the clock. Back in our daylight savings and all of that. He took, what else did he do? He took the first of the year, which is in the springtime, he moved it into January. Changed times. He changed the laws of the Most High. What is he doing? The Most High got particular laws in here, and they are actually operating against them. The Most High said that man should not lie down with mankind. They're actually bringing two men together and bringing a Bible between them, talking about marrying them. And then when we speak about it, you're a hate group. The Most High is telling you in the Bible that is unseemly. And then you're going to have I don't even know if they bring the Bible now, but they have the two people standing up there before them. And I guess it's supposed to be done underneath God on some circuit, on some level. But God is not with that. That's the difference between us and this other political mess on the other side. Y'all understand? Read.
And think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
That's the 1260 days again. The time is 1. Times, then it says times, which is 2. The 2 plus 1 is 3. And then it says what? And the dividing of time, which is the half. Y'all understand that? So that's the same period that we read out of Revelation. Okay? Prophesying in sackcloth. That's why we're worn out in slavery. Read.
Verse 26. But the judgment shall sit.
Irregardless, the judgment of God shall sit. Go ahead.
And they shall take away his dominion.
And they, the saints, shall take away his kingdom. We're going to take the kingdom, brothers and sisters. We're going to take it. That's what God said. That ain't black supremacy. That's God's supremacy. He's the supreme being. He's the supremacist. And it's his word that said that what's going to happen. Go ahead.
And they shall take away his dominion.
And they, the saints, shall take away his dominion. That's why what verse is that? The 18th verse says what it says there. It says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Okay, that's what we're reading here. Read.
But the judgment shall sit.
But the judgment of God shall sit. Go ahead.
And they shall take away his dominion.
And they, the saints, shall take away the dominion.
To consume and to destroy it unto the end.
And shall consume and to destroy it. I mean that this country is going to be wiped out. There's no stopping it. And so you can label that terrorism, but God is the terrorist. Go ahead.
Verse 27. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom.
All the wealth and the kingdoms, everything that's on this planet Earth. Go ahead.
And the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom.
So what is the planet Earth? It's going to be the kingdom, the kingdom of heaven is under the whole heaven. Read that verse again. I'm messing it up.
Verse 27. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven.
What's underneath the whole heaven? The planet Earth. That whole earth is going to be given to the saints of the Most High. Go ahead.
Shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High.
Shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, the same ones that was worn out. Go ahead.
Whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom.
And our kingdom is going to be an everlasting kingdom, meaning we're going to possess the earth forever.
And all dominions shall serve and obey him.
That's the supremacy that God is talking about. That got nothing to do with no quote-unquote black supremacy. That's what God said. And all dominions shall serve and obey the Most High in Christ through the Israelites. Read.
Verse 28. Hitherto is the end of the matter.
That's what the whole Bible is about. Hitherto is the end of the whole conversation about on what my plans are. That's what he just said there. Hitherto is the end of the whole matter. This is what the entire Bible is about. That's what that part of the verse has told you. Read the whole verse.
Verse 28. Hitherto is the end of the matter.
Hitherto is the end of the entire matter. Go ahead.
As for me,
Daniel, go ahead.
My cogitations much troubled me.
My thoughts troubled me when I saw all of these things, when he was looking at these beasts rising and falling, when you read this chapter. He said, these things troubled me. He didn't understand what they meant. Go ahead.
And my countenance changed in me.
And my mind changed in me. My thoughts changed. My expression changed. My countenance, my feelings. Go ahead.
But I kept the matter in my heart.
But I kept the matter in my mind. I didn't mess with it no more. I left it there. Then when you read the 8th chapter, he begins to explain it to him. He explains how it's going to go down. Y'all all right? This is some heavy stuff right here. All right, now give me Revelation 13. I'm going to read more. I'm getting up into the Lord's Prayer now to let you know what this is all about. Revelation 13:9.
Revelations chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear.
If any man have an ear. Wait a minute. Hold it. If any man have an ear. See, these are those moments when you have to pay attention to the words that the Most High is saying. Do we all have ears? Yes. So it's not just saying any man to have an ear. He said we all have ears, but the Lord says, I want you to use those ears. That's what he's saying. If any man have an ear, let him hear, meaning pay attention. Go ahead.
Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity.
We just read that in Luke. And the Israelites shall be led into captivity under all nations until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. We read that in Luke. So what did it just say here?
He that leadeth into captivity.
He that leadeth into captivity. All nations led us into captivity. This is justice. This is if what's that woman from SPLC talking about? If she's really looking for justice, she need to be getting down on this. Not that foolishness that she's talking about. She wants to get rid of the Bible. She ain't gonna get rid of the Bible. She gonna be gotten rid of.
That's right.
Read. Go ahead.
That's Psalms 83 then. That's Psalms 83, what you brought out.
All the nations.
All the nations.
All the
That's
nations
what
are involved in
right
this.
here with this verse.
Exactly. All praises. Read on.
Revelations chapter 13 and verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
There's no maybes in that. There's no possibility that's telling you that they are going into captivity. God said that. Go ahead.
He that killeth with the sword.
So you can understand if we stop preaching this is still going to happen. This ain't got nothing to do with a bunch of black people angry and mad. This is going to happen regardless. The Lord will raise up rocks to make this thing happen if we decide that we're not going to do this. This ain't got nothing to do with some political group. If we just say, let's all go back into the world, the Lord said, okay, go into the world. I will find some rocks to come in here and fulfill this. Because this is going to go down regardless. That's not political. That's spiritual movement from God. So it's going to go down. So understand the difference. That's the point. Read.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's where they're going, period. Go ahead.
He that killeth with the sword.
Didn't we read that in Luke 2? They chopped our babies up with them swords. He that killeth with the sword
must be killed with the sword.
Meaning the Most High going to bring them very spirits back and get that punishment. Ain't none of them getting away. Ain't nobody getting away. Give me that in Revelation 1 and 7. Watch this here. Let me let you know that the Lord means what he say.
Revelation.
That's why they don't want us talking this Bible. This Bible scares the hell out of them.
Revelations chapter 1.
Why don't the preachers read this? They read, T.D. Jakes, all these preachers, they got these Bibles. Why don't they read this? Revelation 1 and 7.
Revelations chapter 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds.
Behold, Jesus Christ comes with the clouds. When he come with those clouds, he's also coming with those bombs as well. It says, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation. I'm talking about Isaiah 13 and 5. Even the Lord and his weapons of indignation coming to destroy the whole land. That's what this is talking about here. Read that again.
Behold.
Hold it, because they might not understand what I'm saying. Read that. I got to get it. I done touched it now. Read it again.
Revelations chapter 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds.
Behold, Jesus Christ. This is the revelation of Jesus Christ that we're reading about. Behold, he cometh with clouds. What clouds is it talking about? Keep reading.
And every eye shall see him.
Every eye shall see him. He's going to be like that light that's coming from the east, because he's going to be coming with fire. Like it says in Isaiah, 66 and 15. Behold, the Lord cometh with fire. Okay, he's coming with those missiles. That's what it's talking about. And every eye going to see him when he come back. Give me Isaiah 13 and 5. Let's prove that. Isaiah 13 and 5. We're getting into the good parts now. Class is almost over, but we're getting into the good parts now. Like I said, I wore your ears out in the beginning. Now we're going to put a smile on your face. Okay.
Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 5.
Read.
They come from a far country.
The missiles and the weapons, that's what it's talking about. They come from a far country. Listen.
From the end of heaven.
From the end of heaven, meaning from the other side of the earth. Come on.
Even the Lord.
Even the Lord. Wait a minute. Even who?
The Lord.
Even the Lord Jesus that we just read about in Revelation. Come on.
And the weapons of his indignation.
Even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation, of his anger.
To destroy the whole land.
That's what that bomb's going to do. So Christ is coming with the bombs. That's the reason why when he says, come up hither, Christ's going to be there to take us up while the bombs are destroying everything beneath us. That's what that's talking about. Only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. 10,000 shall fall on thy side, and 1,000 shall fall on thy left hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. That's Psalms 91. That's all going to be happening at the same time. That's all one. All those scriptures are talking about the same event. When we get taken up, like the Revelation said, come up hither, and the 10th part of the city fell. Why did it fall? Because the bomb's going to make it fall. That's what we're reading here in Isaiah. Even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Singular. He's going to lay this whole country to nothing. So the SPLC's vision going to come to a close. Democracy going to come to a close. Republicanism, all that garbage going to come to a close. That's not going to happen. That's why he said it in Zechariah. He said their eyes shall consume away and their tongue going to consume away and their flesh going to consume away while they stand upon their feet. So they're going to see it. Then they're going to die. And we're going to see that death and be taken up at the same time. That's all one thought. That's all one incident. Read.
Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 6. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand.
So who is this? The day of the Lord. Howl ye, howl ye. That ain't sound like sweet Jesus. Howl ye means you running. How ye man the boogeyman? Howl ye. Go ahead.
Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand.
The day of the Lord is at hand. They don't want the Lord. They talking about they want the Lord. They don't want the black Lord. They don't want this. And because Caesar ain't coming in that day. Caesar ain't coming. That mean black man that you put in jail, that you sold drugs to, that you gave them, put things on their guns so they can shoot up each other, that kind of figure is coming back. The prison, the school to prison pipeline brothers, that's the image that's coming back. Read.
Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty.
The day of the Lord shall come as a destruction from God. So it's obvious as to why they don't want the real truth of this Bible taught, because it is not for them. That's crystal clear. So anybody that's associated with this, they're trying to find a way to associate us with a hate group that has absolutely nothing to do with the Bible. This ain't about some black supremacy stuff. This is about the Bible. That's what this is about, and that's what they are against. I think y'all starting to get it now, right? Y'all's a little leery in the earlier moments. So I told you y'all gonna be all right. Go back to where we was at.
Revelation 1 or 13?
1 and 7. 1 and 7.
Revelations chapter 1 and verse 7.
Because we said about how Christ is going to come, right? And he's bringing destruction. Listen to it. We're going to read it right here.
Behold, he cometh with clouds.
Behold, Jesus. This is the revelation of Jesus. That's the book of Revelation. He cometh with clouds. That's the clouds that he's coming with. Those chariots, so you can understand. Those, what they call UFOs, that's what it's talking about. Christ is coming with 200 million angels. They didn't hear me. He's coming with 200 million saucers, chariots. One angel is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. What the hell is he going to do with 200 million of them but die? That's it. He said that the eyes of the Lord are in every place. What do you mean by that? The eyes of the Lord are the angels that records the good that we do and the evil that we do. He says the eyes of the Lord are in every place. The eyes of the Lord are the angels. And he's coming with 200 million of them. And one angel is 10,000 times brighter than the sun. He's coming with 200 million of them. I think our salvation is pretty much guaranteed. What do y'all think? I'm not good at math, but I think that we pretty much, we're going to be all right. Forgive me, my math is not, Read.
Revelations chapter 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him.
And every eye shall see him. Now watch what it's going to say after this here.
And they also which pierced him.
Wait a minute. Even the ones that stuck that sword in his side, they're going to see him as well, which means what? That they're here. Their spirits are here. So when Christ come back, he said, I remember you the one that stuck the sword in my side. You the one that did this. You the one that did that. And you're going to deal with them spirits. That's why I say even the ones that pierce him, they're going to see him as well. It's going to be a hell of a deal, ain't it? Now, where was I reading before that? It was what made me go to all of this. 13 and 9.
Revelations chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Go ahead.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword.
That's the part that made me go there. He that killeth with the sword. I was making the point that they were killing our young babies and all of that in 70 AD. He said them too, they're going to get it. They that killed with the sword, go ahead.
Must be killed with the sword.
So those same spirits are going to get killed from when they killed our women and babies. Them same spirits, just like the same ones that stuck that sword in Christ's side, they're going to see him. These people are going to get what they did to us back then. Go ahead.
Here is the patience in the faith of the saints.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Because we're patient. That's the reason why we're not out doing no craziness, because we're patient. We're waiting on the Lord. Here is the patience and the faith. We have faith that this is going to happen. We have faith that the Lord is going to defend and take care of us. He brought us this far. Ain't that song, James Cleveland? I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to do that on you. Huh? Nobody told me. I don't believe. But he didn't bring us this far to leave us. Okay? Y'all ain't right. Read.
Revelations chapter 13 and verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming.
No.
Verse
no.
10.
That same verse.
Verse 10.
Here is the patience. That's the part I wanted. Here is the patience. Just read that line. So
here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Here is the patience. We're patiently waiting on the Lord. He brought us this far. We've been through a lot of trials, brothers and sisters. We've been through some hell. But the Lord said, I got you. Don't worry about the SPLC. I just talked about them, but I didn't say that for you to worry. No. Don't worry about any of that. We did not make it here because of their benevolence. Like I said before, thank you. We did not make it this far because of their benevolence. If it was up to them, we'd all be dead or in slavery. Don't ever think that it was because of their benevolence or they are allowing us to be where we are. No, this is a direct result of God's intervention in our lives. They have absolutely nothing to do with that liberty, so-called. God is the one that has already foretold that we were going to be assembling ourselves. This is in the Bible. We're doing what the Bible says. This is not because we just elected to do it. We're following God's prophecy. That's what, like I said, if we elect to not do it, guess what? He's going to find somebody else to come in here and fulfill this. This is going to get done regardless. Sometimes you got to say things in a way to make people really understand how serious the Most High is. We were just reading in Daniel chapter 7. We was reading certain portions of it, but do you realize that Daniel, when he was in the kingdom of Babylon, actually writing about Babylon and writing about the kingdoms that came after him? Daniel didn't live through all of those times. He was Babylon, Persia. That's about it. He didn't get into Rome. He didn't get into Greece. But he saw all those empires all the way up to now that we were reading all the way. What did Daniel see? Daniel saw us getting the kingdom. He saw that, listen, give me the 9th verse. Go to Daniel 7:9 before I hit Isaiah 14.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 9.
Yes.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
Daniel said that I'm looking at all of the kingdoms that you're showing me, O Lord. You showed me the Babylonian Empire, which is the one that I'm in. He says that he also showed Daniel Persia and Media. He also showed Daniel Rome, Greece. Then he showed Daniel Rome. Then he actually saw the return of Rome, which is that 4th kingdom in verse 23 on down to 27 and 28. He saw that. He even saw that the same beast would change times and laws. He saw that. He saw that we would be worn out for a time and times and a dividing of times. He saw the 350 years. He saw that. He even saw that the saints took the kingdom and ruled the kingdom forever. He saw all of that while he was in Babylon. So my question to that is, if you think that man could do what he want to do, you're sadly mistaken, because Daniel saw that Babylon was going to rule to a certain point, then Persia was going to take over him, then Persia was going to rule to a certain point. Then Greece was going to overthrow him. Then Rome was going to come out of Greece and overthrow Greece and absorb Greece into the Greco-Roman Empire. Just like John saw that first Roman kingdom fell, and it came back as America during the Renaissance. Do you think that these people elected to stop ruling and rule the next one? No. God makes people do what he wants them to do. That's how his Bible comes to pass. If it was up to us, the Bible wouldn't come to pass. Oh, well, I see that I'm supposed to stop ruling and so, and I'm going to rule, this one going to rule next. And if we feel that we got the power, then this Bible don't make any sense. God says no. You're going to do exactly what this Bible say, and then that's what you're going to do. You're going to stop ruling here, and the next kingdom going to come and take over you, and then the next one. And that's what he's describing all the way down the line. That's heavy, ain't it? So we're not worried about nothing. So if we get to the point of saying, oh, well, we're going to stop the prophecies. No, you're going to die. The Most High is going to bring derelicts and drug addicts or whatever to come in here and carry this word on. That's how he'll do. This is not stopping. This is not stopping. So I brought all of this up to let you know where we are headed. But what is our ultimate goal? Our ultimate goal is to abide in what the Lord said in his prayer. We're coming to that. We're coming to that. Isaiah 14. Did I have you holding something else, officer?
No.
Okay. Go ahead. Isaiah 14 and 1.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
And
you know what that hold it? This is letting you know that after the whole mess, the Lord is still going to prefer Jerusalem. That's why he's saying he will yet choose Israel. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. That's his future tense. Go ahead.
And will yet choose Israel.
And he will yet, regardless of what we did, regardless of how we were disobedient and all the rest of it, he says, I'm still choosing you as Israel. Go ahead.
And set them in their own land.
And the Lord is going to set up back into our homeland because that's the times that the Gentiles will be fulfilled. Y'all all right? Go ahead.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
And the nations, that's the strangers, the foreigners, shall be joined with us. Let's see.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. How are they going to cleave to the house of Jacob? Because we're going to make them, follow these laws. That's what it's talking about, cleaving. We're going to bend them to do the will of the Most High. We're going to read that in the next scripture. They're going to be forced to keep these laws. That's what it means they're going to cleave. It ain't because they're going to be so much wanting to do it. Could you imagine these so-called white supremacists talking about some, I ain't serving them niggas. That's going to be the good part there. Oh, yes, they're going into slavery. No. They got to go into captivity, brothers and sisters. They got to get it. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Didn't we just read that? So after their 1,000 years of slavery, that's when they're going to get rounded up and burnt up, according to the Most High in the book of Obadiah. That's when it's going to be the end of them. But before that, they got to go into slavery. No, ain't no option. That's thus saith the Lord. And it said, what did it say after that? The Lord, give me that, Obadiah. 18 verse. Give me that. They up there with that black supremacy stuff again. Watch who said this.
Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 18.
Yes, sir. Come on.
And the house of Jacob shall be a fire.
And the house of Jacob shall be a fire. Go ahead.
And the house of Joseph a flame.
And the house of Joseph a flame. We both going to be coming with burning. We got burning materials. Go ahead.
And the house of Esau for stubble.
What is fire going to do with stubble? Stubble is like coal, or like sticks of wood. Esau is going to be stubble. Go ahead.
And they shall kindle in them.
And we going to kindle in them, meaning burning them up like in the oven. Go ahead.
And they shall kindle in them.
And they shall kindle in them. We're going to stoke the fire.
And devour them.
And devour them. Go ahead.
And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord have spoken it.
That's crystal clear. For who said it?
For the Lord have spoken it.
No, you hate groups. You said that.
For the Lord have spoken it.
Yeah, for the Lord have spoken it. That's how that's going to go down. So that's got nothing to do with quote unquote. And I hate even using that terminology, but I know that's what they're throwing out there. So that's why I'm throwing it back at them. We are the prophets of the Most High. We ain't no damn hate group. What's wrong with these people? Go back to where I was at.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord.
We're going to possess all the nations in the land of the Lord.
For servants and handmaids.
That's what we read out of Daniel. And all kingdoms and dominions shall serve and obey him. For servants and handmaids, that's slavery. Because he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Read.
And they shall take them captives.
And we shall take them captives.
Whose captives they were.
Whose captives we were. We were their captives. They're going to become our captives. That's what you call reap what you sow, which meets out to justice. That's the justice. That's justice there. Go ahead.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
And we shall rule over our oppressors. Because we are being oppressed. But the Most High said, no, you're going to rule over those that oppressed you. That's in all the Bibles. The white preacher can read this without a Negro sitting nowhere in the room, and it's still going to be in the Bible. So what are they talking about? We're a hate group. This is in all the Bibles. And we shall rule over our oppressors. Come on.
And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve.
And we were made to serve this hard bondage right here in this country. So the Most High said that it's going to come to pass when he's going to release us out of this bondage. That's where them bombs going to come in. Okay, so we got some beautiful times coming along. It's going to get even more better blues, right? Revelation chapter 2, verse 25. Revelation chapter 2, verse 25. Watch this.
Revelations chapter 2 and verse 25. But that which ye have already, hold fast till I come.
We have a certain amount of knowledge and understanding of God's laws. That's why the scripture's saying, I think it's Hebrews 2. He says, hold on to that. Give me that real quick so I don't mess it up. Hebrews 2 and 1. Hebrews 2 and 1.
Hebrews chapter 2, verse 1. Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we shall let them slip.
Read it again.
Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed.
Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed, meaning pay attention. Go ahead.
To the things which we have heard.
To the things that we have heard, meaning follow what he said. Like he said, gather yourselves together to the things that we have heard. Go ahead.
Lest at any time.
Meaning that if you don't take heed and you don't practice and abide in what we're reading here, you will allow them to slip. Repetition. Constant study. What is it? Malachi 3 and 16. Often communications with each other. Because if you don't do that, you're going to start to slip away. And that's what happens to a lot of brothers and sisters. When they don't do this, then their minds start to get corrupted by the corruptness that's out in the world. And the next thing you know, they're gone. Read that again.
Hebrews chapter 2 and verse 1. Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard. Lest at any time.
That if you stop giving heed,
we shall let them slip.
They will slip away from you. They will slip away from you. Go back to Revelation. Where was that?
Chapter 2 and verse 25.
Yes, sir.
But that which ye have already.
That which you have, the earnest heed that you're supposed to pay attention to, that which you have already.
Hold fast till I come.
Hold tight till I come. Till I come, when Jesus comes. Go out.
And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end.
That's by us not letting it slip away. It says, and he that cometh, that overcometh, and keepeth my works, so that you don't let them slip. What does it say? Keepeth my works until the end.
To him will I give power over the nations.
To him will I give power over the nations. Go ahead. This is God's supremacy.
And he shall.
Because if it was about black supremacy, if it was about black supremacy, all blacks would make it. 2/3 of blacks gonna get burnt up and fried right here. They ain't going nowhere. The Lord is only taking the ones that is obedient to his supremacy. That's who's going. They ain't got nothing to do with no black supremacy. If it was black supremacy, we all be out of here. Lord said, no, I ain't dealing with that. My supremacy is if you don't do what I say, I'm gonna melt you right there. I'm gonna leave you in the fire and melt you. Read.
Verse 27. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
And he shall rule our oppressors. And he shall rule the nations. Go ahead.
As the vessels of
with a rod of iron. Read that again.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
Go ahead.
As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to sheaves.
As the vessels of a potter. The little pots. You taking a rod and you hit that pot, that's how easily the nations are going to be broken into following God's law, because we're going to make them follow the law. That's how easy it's going to be to put the earth in subjection. That's the supremacy that God is talking about. It ain't got nothing to do with some black supremacists. Go ahead.
As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father.
So the same kingdom that the Most High gave to Christ, he's given it to us as well. That's the reason why he said, ye shall be joint heirs with me. That's how that works. Y'all all right? Joint heirs. So we're going to rule the nations. Who's saying this? God. God's saying that. So now we're getting into it. The Israelites want peace. Uh-oh. Think about it. We actually want peace. We want peace. But God has charted the course of peace to go through war. Let me say that again. Who wants to wake up fighting every morning? Don't you want to get to a point, even like when they had us in slavery? Let me lay it out for you. When Esau had us in slavery, right? And he had to wake up every morning to try to make sure that we wasn't killing his hogs, killing his chickens, trying to run away. He had to get to a point where he could lean back. He had to take the chains from us physically and put it around our minds. That's why it said that he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed your mind to the point where you don't even want to run off the plantation. At that point, he could get some rest. Well, we want that too. We eventually, yes, it's going to be fun going to war in the beginning. I ain't going to lie. That's the good part. We got to, because we have to do that thing. The scriptures say that. It is a righteous thing with the Lord to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. So that's beautiful. In the Psalms 149, you can't leave that out. He says, let the high praises of God be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand to execute vengeance upon the nations and put punishments upon the others that's left, to bind their kings in chains. That's the fun part. But the reason why all that has to happen, because that's how peace is going to be made. Peace is going to be made because the wicked has to be destroyed. And men love that kind of the war, but we don't want to be warring forever. We are doing this because we want to get to the part where we can lay down and rest. It says, let them sing praises upon the beds in Psalms 149. Let them sing aloud upon their beds, because we're going to be ruling. But before we get to that, we have to go through war. But ultimately, we do want peace. The Bible talks about that. Y'all all right? But this peace is not going to happen without war. What do you think is going to take to straighten this mess out? Think about it. What do you think is going to take this mess that's going on in the society? What do you think is going to stop this? Some of our people are so hell-bent on being evil, you think you're going to turn them around by talking to them? Some people got to get that deaf. The Most High understands that. But we understand that has to be done. But ultimately, we do want peace. We want what God wants. God wants peace. I'm going to read that. But he understands that this peace has to come through war. Y'all understand that? Some people are nervous. People are a little bit nervous. The scriptures say God is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Did he not say that? But ultimately, when the war is over, it's going to be time to relax. And let us enjoy our families. Let us enjoy our kids. It says, one shall become 1,000. Give me that. And a strong one shall become a strong nation. This is when the wars are over. You know what I'm talking about, Eli? You know what I'm talking about? It's in Isaiah, I think it is. As one, I'm trying to remember where it's at. Just bear with me. We got a little bit more time. I'm about to close it up. I'm almost done. Y'all found it? Y'all still with me, class? Sisters, y'all with me? Yeah. Is it 60? Down at the bottom? What? Yeah, that one. Read that. Yes. And a strong one, a mighty nation. That's something like that? Okay.
Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 22. A little one shall become 1,000.
A little one in the nation of Israel, in the kingdom, shall become, because you got, hey, somebody might say, this ain't talking about the kingdom. Jump up to verse 10 to 12 in the same chapter so you know what time period we're reading about.
Isaiah chapter 60 verse 10.
Read it fast.
And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls.
That's what we was reading in Isaiah 14. Go ahead.
And their kings shall minister unto thee.
And their kings going to be made to serve us. Go ahead.
For in my wrath I smote thee.
And when God got mad at us, we wrought his judgment. He smote us. He put us in chains. Go ahead.
But in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
But in God's favor, he had mercy on the same people that he once afflicted. That's why he said, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. Go ahead.
Therefore, thy gates shall be open continually.
Because of that, your gates in Jerusalem shall be open continually. Listen.
They shall not be shut down day or night.
They shall not be shut day nor night. Our gates, meaning all the ports, going to be opened up. Go ahead.
That men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles.
That men from the other nations are going to bring all their wealth into Jerusalem. That's how Jerusalem walls going to get built. We're going to make them build them in slavery. Them palace floors and all that, we're going to lay them, but we're going to lay that place out, but it's going to be to their labor. Go ahead.
And that their kings may be.
And their kings, their presidents and their noblemen, all of them going to be brought in chains. Go ahead.
For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee.
For the nation and the kingdom that says, I ain't serving you.
Shall perish.
They're going to die instantly.
Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
The whole nation's going to be utterly wasted because they refuse to serve. The Most High got another prophecy where he said that if they don't come up on the Feast of Tabernacles, there will be no rain. So that's some serious business. The Most High going to make them dance to the tune. They ain't going to want to bend them knees and dance, but they're going to have to dance to it. Go ahead.
You want to finish 22?
Jump down.
60.
Yeah.
Isaiah chapter 60, verse 22. A little one shall become 1,000.
A little one, a small man in the nation of Israel shall become 1,000. Going to have 1,000 kids.
And a small one, a strong nation.
And a small one shall be a strong nation. You know what that means? Babies going to be born all over the place. Huh? That's where Isaiah 4:1 comes in. Look at the brothers. Don't think about that now. That's in the kingdom. Because ain't no one woman going to be able to bring 1,000 kids like that. Huh? 7 women shall take hold on one man. That's where that's going to come in, because you're going to be bringing back babies like that's. You can't be bringing babies if you're at war. That's the point. That's going to be when we're in the kingdom, when the nations are laid low. Y'all all right? Keep your minds up now. Brothers want to skip past all that, talking about I'm ready now. No, you ain't. Read.
I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time.
I, the Lord, will hurry that thing up. So that's why it's saying that that little one going to become 1,000. He's going to be having babies pop up. All the wives going to be pregnant. Bringing them babies back. You can't do that if you're at war. That's my point. That's the reason why I'm bringing this out. The nation's going to have been subdued before we can get to this. Y'all dig it? Y'all all right? Just throwing that out there. Now, where was I at? Go back to where I was at. Where was I at? I done got lost in my... where was... Yeah. Now I finished that, right? Even as I received of my Father. So we read about the small one shall become a nation and all that, right? And we read Isaiah 14. All right, we're coming on down. Now, I was making a point that the Israelites, we want peace. And we understand that peace have to go through a war. We just cleared it up, right? But now I want to read a little bit about the peace. Okay? These distinctions need to clearly be understood and repeated everywhere, especially on social media, that we are not this hate group business. Y'all understand that? We're not into that. We're about following God's commandments. I want to make that clear, okay? Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 1. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass.
And it shall come to pass, listen now.
In the last days.
In the last days. This is talking about the kingdom, brothers and sisters. Listen.
That the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
How are they going to be established on the top of the mountains? Through war. The Most High going to have us to make them lay low, and Israel going to rule everybody. That's what we was reading in Daniel. That's what we reading in Isaiah, all over the Bible. That's what Revelation, all that. Even Christ said it. You shall break the nations down with a rod of iron. So all of that's talking about the same thing. Read that again.
And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
The word mountains means governments. Our government is going to be above all other governments. And the other government's going to have to serve us. Go ahead. And Esau going to be wiped out at this point. Esau going to be gone. There ain't going to be no Edom. Esau at this point going to be out, non-existent. This is going to be the rest of the nations. Go ahead.
And shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
And all nations shall flow unto it. That's going back to, what is it, Zechariah? When they have to come up to Jerusalem and get the law, for he shall teach us the ways of the Lord. You know what I'm talking about? In Zion, give me that real quick so they'll know. I hope I'm quoting it right. I got a lot of scriptures in my head. Teach us the way of the Lord. You know what I'm talking about? We shall go up to Jerusalem, and he shall show us thy ways. Anybody know where that's at? What is it? No, I don't think it's Micah 4. Yeah, something like that. What is it? Zechariah 14 or something?
Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 16.
You see it? Is that it? Let me see something.
Yeah, this is it.
Read it.
Zechariah chapter 14 verse 16. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King.
There you go.
The Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
Go ahead.
And
what verse you in?
That was 16.
Read.
Verse 17. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain.
Even upon them shall be no rain. Did you read the part where it says, let us go up to Jerusalem?
Yes.
I don't know what that's. It uses words like that. All right, I'll find it another day. Go back to where we was at. This said it somewhat, but it was an actual statement that said we will cleave, we will learn from the house. It might be in Isaiah. It might be in a. No, what'd you say, Captain Carr? What'd you say? That's good. Read that. I'm trying to find something to go along with the thought that I'm. Isaiah 2 and 3. You mean to tell me I was in the chapter? Wow, that's where it was at. It's in the chapter that I'm reading. Come on back, brothers. Huh? Yeah, it was right in my scriptures. Go back to Isaiah 2.
Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2.
Well, all those other scriptures were good anyway. Y'all all right? Come on, man.
Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2.
Especially the one in Zechariah. Y'all came through, brothers. Y'all really did. Thank you. Come on.
And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
Go ahead.
And shall
be on the top of the governments. Go ahead.
And shall be exalted above the hills.
And we shall be above all the other governments.
And all nations shall flow unto it.
And all the nations shall flow unto us for the teaching and guidance. Go ahead.
And many people shall go and say,
That's it.
Come ye.
How I missed this? Go ahead. And many people shall go and say,
Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob.
That's it right there. Come on.
And he will teach us of his ways.
You see that? That's what we're supposed to have done from the very beginning. That was what Adam's job was. I remember a long time ago I did a class about us being Adam again. This is what Adam was supposed to have done. Did Adam have war back then? No. Adam was at peace. That's what we want to get to. But we have to go through war. But the objective is, I want peace. Don't you want peace? But we got to go through war. That's the reason why it's set up that way. So we're not no hate group. What are these people talking about? We're a spiritual group. We're the Lord's group. Come on.
And he will teach us of his ways.
And he will teach us of his ways. Go ahead.
And we will walk in his path.
And we will walk in his path. Now, this is going to happen after them got beat down, after the war and all that, because they know that judgment is serious. You lay something up against somebody's head, they get civilized real quick, won't they? They ain't resisting you no more. That's the point. Go ahead.
For out of Zion shall go forth the law.
That's it right there. For out of Zion shall go forth the law.
And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
And the word of the Lord shall come from Jerusalem. That's the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom being given to the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations.
And he shall judge among the nations.
And
we're going to be judging whole nations, man. Little issues are going to come up about laws, and they didn't understand how to keep this and keep that. Adultery, whatever. We're going to be judging those matters. Calling whole nations up and judging them. We're talking about we looking for some power. That's the real power there, brothers. Y'all all right? Go ahead.
And he shall judge among the nations. And shall rebuke many people.
And we shall rebuke many people that do mess up. Go ahead.
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares.
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, meaning farming tools. That's what it's talking about. Listen to the reason why. Go ahead.
And their spears into prong hooks.
And their spears into pruning hooks that trim trees and all that. Go ahead.
Nation shall not lift up sword against nation. Neither shall they learn war anymore.
You see that? That's the time of peace. That's what we want to get to. But in order to get there, we got to go through all of what we just read earlier. So our objective is not to be at war all the time. Our objective is to get to this, what we just read. But like I said, our quote-unquote movement is not political, it's biblical. Y'all understand that? This is what we want to get to. And they shall learn war no more. Read.
Verse 5, O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord.
And that's what we want to do. We all want to walk in the light of the Lord. Last scripture, Matthew 6. Matthew 6 and 9. This is the Lord's Prayer. Matthew 6 and 9.
Matthew chapter 6 and verse 9.
All of what I just read is summed up in these verses right here.
After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be the name of the Lord and his program and his Christ. Go ahead.
Thy kingdom come.
The kingdom of God, which Christ is bringing, what?
Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done.
The will of God, which is what we've been reading. Everything that we just read out of here is the will of God. Do y'all understand that? The slavery that the nations are going in, us going into captivity, us getting the rulership, all of that is the will of God. That's what we just read. Y'all didn't see me read out of no other book. Y'all saw me read out of the Bible. When are these so-called hate groups are doing this? That's why our agenda is not the mirror opposite of these other groups. Our mission is what's in this Bible. Understand that. It says what?
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done in earth.
Our will be done. I mean, God's will be done in this earth. Go ahead.
As it is written, as it is in heaven.
As it is heaven. The order that is in the heavens, the angels are in order up there. We're going to have order down here. That's what it's talking about. Go ahead.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And Most High said, don't be greedy of gain. That's what he's saying. Be content and work among yourselves. That's what he's really saying. Gather yourselves together and sustain yourselves until I come. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us of our sins.
As we forgive our debtors.
So when we sin against each other, we're supposed to forgive each other. Just the way I would want to be forgiven by you, I will also forgive you for what you did against me. That's what the Lord is trying to do with us. That's not a hate group. That's a love group. But we love the Most High. We don't love our enemies. No. The enemies that we love is the enemies among our own people so that they can repent and get themselves right. Y'all all right? Read on.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation of doing things outside of the will of God. Even though you might be tempted to do it, don't follow that. Don't be tempted by that, going after your own lust and stuff like that. Don't do that. Stay in these words so you don't allow them to slip. Go ahead.
And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Deliver us from our evil thoughts. Deliver us from evil people. Deliver us from all evil that are around us. Lord, put a hedge around us and protect us. Go ahead.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom. Lord, this is your kingdom. Go ahead.
And the power.
And this is your power. Go ahead.
And the glory.
And the glory belongs to you.
Forever. Amen.
And forever and ever. Amen. All praise to the Most High. This is what campaign is about. Y'all all right? All praise to the Most High.
So hard to serve God. And why when I say that I'm a Jew, it sound odd. For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.